A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, hello. Come right in. Oh, George, we've got company.
This is Bill Goodwin speaking for Lever Brothers Makers of Swan, the new white floating soap that's pure as fine Castiles. Well, it's Tuesday night again, time for another pleasant visit with George Burns and Gracie Allen. Our guests, the MGM star Charles Lawton and his charming wife Elsa Lanchester, Jimmy Cash and Felix Mills and his orchestra. And now meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie.
Gee, that's a swell-looking Christmas tree you got, Gracie.
Oh, isn't it handsome? I picked this tree for sentimental reasons.
You did?
Yes. You see how it's little at the top and spreads out at the bottom?
What's sentimental about it?
It reminds me of you.
Thanks, dear.
Oh, won't it be wonderful, darling, spending another Christmas together?
You bet.
And this year it's going to be a real white one.
A white Christmas?
Yes.
Gracie, it never snows in Hollywood.
Oh, I didn't mean that. But remember the sheets we sent to the laundry 6 months ago?
Oh, they're back.
Yes.
We'll have a white Christmas and a starchy New Year, yeah.
Oh, remember our first Christmas, George? You were dating me then.
Sure, I remember.
You kissed me under the mistletoe. My, you were a fiery lover.
I was?
Yeah. Oh, look, we're under the mistletoe now. How about a kiss?
Oh, Gracie.
Oh, come on. I want to see if your kisses are still fiery.
Okay. Well?
I guess they're not making mistletoe like they used to.
Well, come on, we better get busy and trim the tree.
All right, and then we'll go to the pageant rehearsal.
Pageant rehearsal?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Nigel Bolingbroke is staging a Christmas pageant. I'm the Snow Queen, and you're going to be Santa Claus.
Look, I'm not going to be Santa Claus for that broken-down pool room bum.
But, George, it's a wonderful part. You come down the chimney and put presents in the bottles that are hanging by the fireplace.
Wait a minute. Bottles hanging by the fireplace?
Yeah, liquid stocking.
Oh, I see.
You'll be such a cute little Santa Claus with a pillow stuffed in your coat and a long...
Gracie, I'm not going to be in the pageant.
Well, you're very silly, dear. A talent scout might see you. Why, Lana Turner was discovered just sipping a soda in a drugstore.
Well, maybe Lana Turner had more to offer than I would a Santa Claus.
Oh, I don't know. With a pillow in front of you, you'd have...
Never mind.
Come in.
Greetings, good people. 'Tis I, Bolingbroke.
Oh, hello, Maestro. I was just telling George that we want him to play Santa Claus in our pageant.
Yes, and I turned it down, Cue Ball.
Why, you can't be serious, Burns. What a pageant it will be. The very thought of the first scene warms my heart. As the curtain rises, the stage is crowded with little children. Little tots too young to have an agent, all working for nothing.
Yes, that would warm your heart.
And then, tally-ho! Out upon the stage comes jolly old St. Nick in his sleigh.
Drawn by his faithful reindeer, Dunder and Blitzen, Dancer and Prancer, Comet and Garrett Lydecker.
Comet and Garrett Lydecker?
It's an actor friend of mine. Though reduced to playing a reindeer, he insists upon full billing.
Look, I don't want to have anything to do with this broken-down pageant.
Apparently, Mrs. Burns, we must seek elsewhere for a Santa.
Oh, I've got it. The perfect Santa Claus. Charles Lawton.
Oh, stop.
Well, he's already got a big bundle. All he has to do is move it around to the back.
Gracie, you'll never get a man like Charles Lawton to be in the silly pageant.
Hi, folks. Am I interrupting anything?
Not a thing, Bill.
Well, friend Goodwin, I'm so happy to see you. Your arrival is most opportune.
Will $50 be enough?
Don't be crude, my dear fella. I merely wish to proffer you the role of Santa Claus in our Christmas pageant.
Oh, well, you're too late, Cue Ball. I'm taking Santa's place at the department store Toyland this week.
Oh, really, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll bet it's fun giving the kiddies presents.
Oh, it is, Gracie. You ought to see their little faces light up when they unwrap them and say, "Ooh, look, Sandy gave me a great big bar of swine."
That's the present.
Well, sure, George. Swan, the new white floating soap is a present for the whole family because it's 4 soaps in one. The soap for your hands and face, a wonderful soap for bathing the baby, and perfect for dishes and light laundry. 4 swell soaps in one, a great wartime buy.
Well, Bill, what if a little girl asks for a doll?
Oh, Bill has a special bar of Swan that says Mama when you break it in two.
Well, the little girls like to climb up on my lap and have me tell them how to wash the dishes with Swan. I tell them about those long-lasting Swan suds, and I tell them that Swan is so mild and gentle they don't have to worry about rough dishpanny hands.
They like that, huh?
Oh, sure, fascinates them. Why, yesterday a little girl named Nancy sat in my lap for a half hour.
Well, is she big enough to wash the dishes?
Well, I think so. She's 22.
Well, if Bill won't be our Santa Claus, I better get in touch with Mr. Lawton right away.
Oh, now, Gracie, surely you're not serious about this. Surely you wouldn't bother a great actor like Charles Lawton with this silly pageant. I know I can trust you.
Mama's little dreamer.
Gracie, I want you to promise me that you won't ask him.
Well,
Go on, promise.
all right, I promise.
Good. Now behave yourself while I go down to the cigar store.
Well, I'd better start for Mr. Lawton's house.
Well, Gracie, you just promised George.
I promised I wouldn't ask Mr. Lawton to be Santa Claus.
Yes?
But I didn't promise I wouldn't ask his wife to ask him.
Oh, you're going to talk to Mrs. Lawton, Elsa Lanchester.
Sure. The way to a man's heart is through his wife.
I thought it was through his stomach.
Well, in Mr. Lawton's case, there's a shorter way.
Why, Gracie.
Hello, Elsa.
Come in, dear. It's been ages since I've seen you.
Yes, I guess the last time was at Maggie Ettinger's party.
That's right. Charming affair, wasn't it?
Oh, delightful. She's such a wonderful hostess. Of course, the sandwiches were terribly small.
True, and the cocktails were rather poisonous.
And the flowers on the table were all droopy.
Most of the guests were droopy, too.
Yeah, and Maggie had on the same dress she's worn at the last 3 parties.
The last 4. But it really was a charming party.
Oh, delightful. Well, I better get down to business, Elsa. Do you think Charles would like to play Santa Claus in a Christmas pageant?
Santa Claus?
Yes. It would be a nice change from his movie work, and I know how tiring that can be.
What do you mean?
Well, George and I saw him in a picture not long ago, and I remember saying, George, Charles must be working too hard. He doesn't look well.
What picture was that?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, he did look a bit seedy in that one.
But he'd look fine as Santa Claus.
Why don't you have George play the part?
Well, I asked him to, but he wouldn't do it.
You mean he refused?
Uh-huh.
But that's ridiculous. It's absurd. After all, he's only a husband.
Well, doesn't Charles ever refuse?
I should say not. He wouldn't dare. Gracie, does George wear the pants in your house?
Well, not so much in the house, but always when he goes out.
I mean, is he boss?
Oh, sure.
You've obviously let him get out of hand. Can't you control him at all?
Well, George was pretty well under control the first few years we were married, but then my mother left.
But, Gracie, the wife must be boss. For example, Charles serves me breakfast in bed. Does George do that?
Oh, no. He makes me come down to the table before he serves mine.
What about closing the windows and turning the heat on in the morning?
Oh, well, I've been doing that recently. It's icy cold in the room when we wake up.
All the more reason why you should make George do it.
Oh, I don't have the heart, Elsa. He lies there and looks at me so pathetically with those 2 big blue lips.
You're too soft, Gracie. Be like me. Keep Charles under your thumb.
My.
I lay down the law and he obeys it.
Gee.
I crack the whip and he jumps.
Really?
Absolutely. And to prove it, I promise you that Charles will play Santa Claus because I'll order him to play it.
Oh, you're sweet. So full of the real Christmas spirit.
Come on, let's go up to the attic. There's a red flannel nightshirt there that I made him stop wearing. It might do for part of the costume.
Well, why did you make him stop wearing it?
Oh, bad for my nerves. He looked exactly like a burning building.
Well, while the girls were in the attic, Mr. Lawton came home. He just hung up his hat when there was a knock at the door.
Oh, hello. Come on in, George.
Oh, thanks, Charles. Thanks. Say, Charles, I'm looking for Gracie. Is she here?
Why, George, how flattering.
I thought maybe I asked Gracie. I asked Gracie to tell you that for you not to be in her Christmas pageant. I told her not to do it, but I thought maybe she did anyway.
You meant she might have disobeyed you?
Sure.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's absurd. After all, she's only a wife.
Well, doesn't Elsa ever disobey you?
I should say not. She wouldn't dare. You're too soft, George. You let Gracie run over you.
Really?
Certainly. You're the husband. You're entitled to be boss. Who brings the money in your family? Who earns the living? I say you are in rather an awkward spot, aren't you?
Yes, I guess so.
Believe me, I keep Elsa under my thumb.
My.
I lay down the law and she obeys it.
Gee.
I crack the whip and she jumps.
Really?
Absolutely.
You wear the pants around here, huh?
I haven't had them off in 17 years.
Boy, you go out whenever you want to, huh?
Not a question.
Your wife doesn't complain when you have the boys over for poker?
She wouldn't dare.
Well, how does she feel about smoking cigars in the living room?
I'd never let her do it.
No, I mean, can you do it?
I do as I please, and if Elsa so much as raises an eyebrow at me, I turn her across my knee and spank her.
What was that, Charles?
Oh, hello, darling. I didn't know you were home.
Evidently not. Gracie, give me that flannel nightshirt.
Oh, here you are, Elsa.
Charles, take this to your room and sew legs on it. You're going to be Santa Claus. Don't argue with me, fat boy. Go to your room.
Yes, dear.
George Burns, you go and help him.
What, Gracie?
Don't argue with me, skinny boy.
Yes, dear.
See, Elsa, this is fun.
Here's our popular young tenor, Jimmy Cash, with Felix Mills in the orchestra, and an old favorite that's coming to the fore again, a ballad called Home. Jimmy?
Evening ever brings to me dreams of days that used to be, memories of those I love, the best. When shadows fall and trees whisper day is ending, my thoughts are ever wending home. When crickets call, my heart is forever yearning once more to be returning home. When the hills conceal the setting sun, stars begin a peeping one by one. Night covers all and all.
Mr. Lawton, so you don't wear the pants in your family after all.
No, George, I confess. I wear the girdle.
I can't believe it. A big guy like you afraid of your wife.
It's a secret I've kept from the whole world. Why, outside of my home, everyone's afraid of me. Policemen tremble when I talk to them. Truck drivers get out of my way. Department store clerks actually wait on me.
But at home, you're a milquetoast.
Yes, it's terrible. I went to a psychoanalyst.
What did he say?
He said, talk back to your wife. Don't be afraid of her. He was a single man.
I guess that. But, Charles, why are you so afraid of Elsa? Does she beat you?
Oh, of course not. That's just the point. She's sweet to me, and I love her. But I want to be boss, and she won't let me.
Say,
I long to be the caveman type. I go to a Humphrey Bogart picture and just sit there and drool.
Well, haven't you ever gotten up enough nerve to do anything about it?
Well, once I did lose my temper. Elsa criticized my work.
That got you, huh?
Yeah, so I took off my apron, threw down my broom, and walked out of the house.
You're a tiger. You know...
Come in.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Lawton. I was looking for Gracie. Oh, hello, George.
Hello, Bill. Charles, this is Bill Goodwin.
How do you do?
Well, gee, Mr. Lawton, you don't have to stick your tongue out at me.
That's his lip. He's pouting. He's henpecked.
Ah, go on. Not Charles Lawton. He's too tough. Why, I can still hear him saying, Mr. Clifton, come here. Scrub my back with Swan.
I don't recall that.
Well, Charles, you must try it sometime. Swan's not only great for your bath or for bathing the baby, but it's just a soap for dishes and light laundry. Swan's the new white floating soap that's 4 swell soaps in one.
Say, Bill, we're serious. Gracie saw Elsa dominate Charles, and now I'm henpecked, too.
Well, what are you, George, a man or a mouse? Get tough with Gracie. Scare her.
How? Tell her I'll leave her?
No, don't bribe her. Scare her.
Bill.
Listen, I'll tell you how both of you can scare your wife.
How?
Tell him you won't let him bathe the babies with Swan.
What baby?
Well, any babies.
Oh.
Swan's great for all of them. Doctors recommend it because it's pure as fine Castiles, and it's so mild it's kind even to a little baby's tender skin, which, incidentally, is a tip-off to the fact that it's swell for your hands and face, your complexion.
Say, Charles, maybe we should try to scare our wives.
You're right. If we're ever going to get the upper hand, now's our chance, while there's a shortage of men.
Right. Now you're talking. Once and for all, end that myth about the better half.
We will.
There's no such thing as a better half. Both halves are equally good.
Sure.
So when you break Swan in two, put half in the kitchen and half in the bathroom.
So long, Bill.
You can put your half in the bathroom for your tub or shower.
Out, Bill.
Or you can put it in the kitchen for the dishes or light laundry.
Out.
George, let's go in there and pin their ears back.
Okay.
We'll show them who's boss.
You said it.
We'll scare the life out of them.
I'll say we will.
You go first.
Well, we better go in together.
You're right. United we stand.
That's the stuff.
Nothing can stop us.
Now you're talking.
We're husbands on the warpath.
That's us.
Let's have a drink first.
That's a good idea. One quick one to give us nerve.
Yes, I'll cut some lemon and put on the teapot.
Oh, never mind that. Let's go in and get this over with.
Right you are. It's now or never.
Sure.
Our wives can't push us around.
I'll say.
Men are meant to be masters, not women.
Right.
Do you think we'd better arm ourselves?
Oh, come on. We're not afraid of them. Remember Captain Bligh.
Very well. Are you with me?
Yes.
Let's go.
Good.
Mrs. Lawton.
Mrs. Burns.
Yes, sir?
Yes, dear.
Sit down.
Sit down.
We are sitting.
And stand up.
Stand up.
Charles, what is the meaning
Quiet. We have come to deliver an ultimatum.
Yes. Yes.
Henceforth, we will give the orders, not you. And to start with, we will not play Santa Claus.
That's right.
So you can take this Santa Claus suit and stuff it in the chimney.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, my goodness, what happened?
Charles must have gotten into my vitamin capsules.
Well, Elsa, if we let them get away with this, we're sunk.
You're right. They might tell other husbands and organize.
Yeah. And men are scarce now, even men like ours.
I don't know what to do. I've never seen Charles like this before.
Oh, I could handle your husband, but I wouldn't know what to do with George.
Oh, George is no problem.
Yeah. Say, I have an idea. I'll handle your husband and you handle mine.
It's a deal. Mr. Burns, may I see you alone for a moment?
Why, of course, Elsa.
Oh, and Mr. Lawton, I'd like to speak with you.
What is it, Elsa?
Sit down, George. I'll sit here at your feet.
Well, if that's the way you like it, it's...
If feet have so much character, George, what size are they?
11s.
The best size. There can be no nonsense about a man who has so much of him on the ground.
Look, if you're trying to flatter me into playing Santa Claus, you...
Oh, no, George. I admire you for refusing. You were so virile, so masterful.
Well, Charles spoke up, too.
Only because he had your strength to lean on.
Really?
You are strong, aren't you, George?
Well, I'm not exactly a panty waist.
Modest boy. Flex your arm and let me feel your muscle.
Okay. Grab hold.
Go on. Flex it.
It's flexed.
How nice to have smooth muscles that don't make lumps.
Yeah.
Your personality and your gorgeous, resonant voice.
And respect all by my side.
Oh, you sing, too.
Of course.
Do you ever sing any lighter things, such as Christmas carols?
Oh, sure.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Magnificent, George.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Incredible. You actually seem to have bells that swing back and forth in your throat.
Those are tonsils.
What a pity the world must be robbed of such beauty.
Huh?
If you played Santa Claus and made your entrance singing Jingle Bells, it would be the theatrical event of the century.
Bigger than the Avon Comedy Fall?
I think so. Well, why discuss it? I admire the stand you've taken and you mustn't change it.
Wait a minute. You can't tell me what to do.
I can't?
No. If I want to play Santa Claus, nobody can stop me.
Oh, George, you're so strong. So terribly strong.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle bells.
And so, Mrs. Burns, if you have any notion of wheedling me into the part of Santa Claus in your moth-eaten pageant, forget it. I won't do it, and that's final.
Then I may as well go?
You may as well.
All right. I won't bother you anymore. May I have a picture of you to take with me?
You women seem to picture me.
Yes, and if it's not too much trouble, please sign it. To Gracie, from the greatest actor of all time.
Oh, it's no trouble at all, my dear. But do you really think I'm the greatest?
Oh, certainly. I've seen lots of actors, but you're head and shoulders and so on and so forth above them all.
Oh, very well, here's your picture.
But you didn't write from the greatest actor of all time.
It's stamped on all my pictures.
Oh, my, you're handsome. I can't understand those silly people who stand in line for hours to see an Errol Flynn movie. I wait until one of your pictures is playing, and then I go right in and pick out the best seat in the house.
I had no idea you were such a devoted admirer.
Oh, I'm not the only one. You know, I saw a revival of Henry VIII not so long ago, and when you played one scene, the whole audience was in tears.
The scene where I was a feeble, broken old man.
No, the scene where you took a big bone with lots of meat on it and threw it to the dogs.
One time that was considered quite amusing.
I love to hear you deliver lines, Mr. Lawton. Those rich, beautiful sounds come pouring out of you like wine out of a barrel.
Thank you, I think.
Mr. Lawton, I'll bet you could take just any old words and make them sound wonderful. Like, for instance, ho dancer, ho prancer.
Doesn't Santa Claus say that to his reindeer?
Yes, try it.
Ho dancer, ho prancer. Joe, it does sound good, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
But I'm not satisfied. I see dancer as a more delicate deer than prancer. How's this? Ho dancer, ho prancer.
Oh, you're cute.
No, Prancer needs to be polished. I see Prancer as a frisky animal, always kicking up his heels, something like this. Ho dancer, ho, 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 Prancer.
Such a great performance should never be heard.
But it shall be heard. I insist that it be heard.
Oh, you're so masterful, Charles. I guess I'll have to give in.
Well, Gracie, your problem is solved. George is in there, and he's agreed to play Santa Claus.
What? Over my dead body?
Well, Gracie, it looks like you're going to have two Santa Clauses for your pageant.
Well, yeah. I think the admission tickets will have to be brown ration stamps. Well, won't we be giving the audience the two biggest hams in the world?
George and Gracie will be right back, friends, and meanwhile, I'd like to remind you that because we're all busy these days, every little convenience can be a big help. Like 4-in-1 Swan soap, for instance. You see, one soap, Swan, the new white floating soap, is swell for baby's bath, your own bath and complexion, dishes, and light laundry. Yes, Swan is 4 soaps in one, and a great wartime buy. And now, from the makers of Swan, Christmas greetings to you all. And here again, our radio's ever-loving Mr. and Mrs., George and Gracie.
Say, George, you know who our guest is next week? John Garfield.
Oh, swell.
Oh, that poor boy. He's always been throwing into prison.
Oh, yes. They throw him into prison for $30,000 a week.
Say, do you think we can spring him in time for our show?
I'll talk to his agent. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Our thanks to our guest tonight, Elsa Lanchester, and her husband, Charles Lawton, who appeared with the kind permission of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor musical Thousands Cheer. The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in to your Columbia station again next week, same time, when we'll have as our guest John Garfield. Remember, George Burns and Gracie Allen, CBS, next Tuesday night. And now till next Tuesday, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I Swan, how about you? And also adding, tomorrow night, don't miss the big radio treat of this year and every year. Lionel Barrymore as Old Scrooge in Charles Dickens' immortal Yuletide story, A Christmas Carol. It'll be broadcast over most of these same stations at this same time tomorrow night. Get the whole family to listen to Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol starring Lionel Barrymore, the only time this season that Mr. Barrymore will broadcast this great Christmas story. Good night, everyone.
Duffy's Tavern, where do you eat meat to eat? Archie the man just speaking. Duffy ain't here. Oh, hello, Duffy. Tonight, a real big shot, Duffy. Monty Woolley. And that ain't hay. Or is it? Well, you remember Woolley, Duffy, the wise old actor with a sage old brush. Well, look, Duffy, somebody's got to play Santa Claus at the Christmas party, so, as long as Monty's going to be here, the old adagio, a beard in the hand. Yeah, sure, I'll ask him. Well, I'll call you back, Duffy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Duffy's Tavern. Come in and meet Finnegan, Eddie the waiter, Miss Duffy, our singer Bob Graham, Beat Reeves and his orchestra, and our special guest tonight, Monty Woolley, and Archie himself, Ed Gardner.
Hey, Eddie, where's the soap?
The soap? Miss Archie, you got a new girl?
No, Eddie, I want to write a poem on the mirror.
A poem on the mirror?
Certainly, the annual Christmas poem. And, Eddie, if I do say so, it's probably the finest opus I have ever opened. You know, got that real Christmas flavor.
Say, any chance of fella not hearing it?
Certainly, Eddie. Listen to this thing. Merry Christmas to you all. Be of right cheer and joyous. Leave us Yule a log on the fire. And leave not naught annoy us. Come lift your beakers and quaff us a stroll. Kiss Kringles abroad in the snow. Aye, quaff, lads, and laugh, lads. Ha-ha. Hee-hee. Ho-ho. You like it, Eddie?
It'll go beautifully with that cracked mirror. Okay, here's the soap.
And, Eddie, while I'm doing this, how about you Christmasing up the joint a little bit there? Here, hang up these wreaths.
Yes, where'll I hang them?
Well, leave one dangle over each table.
That's a good idea. Then after each customer's finished eating, we can just lay the wreath right on his chest.
Eddie, don't be so fascistic.
Say, Archie.
Oh, yeah, Miss Duffy.
Where do you think is the best place for me to hang these mistletoes?
Well, how many you got there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Duffy, you're going to hang 7 mistletoes around this joint?
Well, what do you want me to do? Stand in one place all the time?
Well, you mean to tell me that you got all these traps set for Breckenridge Hartzenfelder?
Oh, him.
Oh, him? What's the trouble?
Oh, I just found out what he's getting me for Christmas. A $2 bottle of perfume. Isn't that cheap?
Well, now, wait a minute, Miss Duffy. You know, $2 a bottle for perfume might not be cheap. It all depends. Is it a quarter or a fifth?
Archie, everybody knows that perfume don't come in quarts or fifths. This is a pint. Gee, I thought maybe he would get me a fur coat or maybe an alligator bag.
An alligator bag? What would you do with it? You ain't got an alligator.
Oh, what's the use of standing here talking to you? Once a man, always a man.
And you can say that again. Eddie, did you ever beat the likes of these dames? They're all so mercenary, you know?
That is sure. You know, that Sonia Jones of mine is still expecting that mink coat. Plus
what?
Plus a diamond bracelet and a ruby engagement ring, which I also promised her. You see, the other night I sort of took her off, and when we talked about the mink coat, she kind of put her arms around me, and then I mentioned the diamond bracelet, and she gave me a great big kiss. Then I saw the ruby ring.
Eddie, are you crazy? Comes Christmas and she'll kill you.
Who cares? Live dangerously is my motto.
You know, with me, I ain't got no problems. I'm giving every dame I know the same present. A nice, practical gift. And yet it's attractive. What is it? Picture me. You see, I had 6 lovely portraits made.
How much did it set you back?
let's see, there were 3 per quarter. And there were 6 of them. It came to 6 times 3 1/4. Roughly around $1.50. And that takes care of my list.
Say, well, what you going to give for Mr. Duffy?
What am I going to get for Duffy? Eddie, for Duffy, I will get exactly what he always gets me. And that is something which you can find in a vacuum which has been cleaned out by a vacuum cleaner. Oh, hiya, Finnegan.
I check who's here with me tonight.
Who?
Big brother Wilfred.
Wilfred?
Yeah.
Is that the tall, fat, ugly one?
No, that's me mother. You know, Wilfred is me kid brother. You know, the black sheep of the family.
The black sheep of the family?
Yeah, the one with the brains.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Very smart kid.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Art, what's an IQ?
An IQ? Why?
My kid brother's got one.
Well, you see, Finnegan, that proves that he is a very bright boy.
Yeah?
Yeah, yes. IQ is a scientific abbreviation for a very smart person. Liberally translated, it means intelligent quadruped.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this brother of mine is very smart. He's really got his worry. You see, the rest of our family is just normal, average people. Like me. And poor Wilfred has to be a genius.
Yeah, well, that's tough.
Yeah.
When did you find it out?
Well, we first realized that he was abnormal when we seen him reading the paper without moving his lips.
Well, you can't tell. Maybe the kid has been throat clipped.
No, he's a good boy. Wait, I'll go bring him over.
Duffy? What? There's a package from you arriving for me, and I shouldn't open it until Christmas. A present for me? Are you sure this is Duffy? Well, Duffy, I'm flabbergasted, you know? Well, gee, thanks. And by the way, did you receive my present yet? Well, it's probably in the mail. I'll call you back. Holy cat, Eddie. Duffy bought me a present. I gotta get something from him. I gotta get something. What could I... Let me see. Europa. I got it. What? I'll send him one of my portraits. Have you got a pen, Eddie?
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll autograph it, you know, with something nice. Let's see. To my dearest employer, good old Duffy, in fond appreciation for all I have done for you. Signed, Archie.
Say, Archie.
Yeah, Mr. Bailey.
Do you think that a picture is enough of a...
Listen, Bailey, he's the boss. Naturally, I can't send him as good a present as he's sending me. After all, with the kind of dough Duffy's got, you know, and an expensive present, there's no skin off his flint.
Say, Archie, wouldn't it be wonderful if around this time of year he sent you a lovely warm scarf?
A scarf? Well, Bailey, I'm funny that way. You know, I'd rather warm myself over a gold cigarette lighter.
Well, as long as it's something that keeps you warm. Don't forget, Archie, the cold sneezing is here.
Would you mind to repeat that, please?
I said the cold sneezing is here.
The cold sneezing is here. Bailey, that joke stinks. Christmas present. I wonder what it could be.
Hi, Art.
Yeah, Finnegan.
Here's my brother Wilfred. You remember him, Art?
Oh, certainly. Hello, Wilfred, my boy.
Hello.
My, you certainly have been growing.
Doesn't that strike you as an entirely normal procedure?
Well, that's how it goes. Well, how's things in school, Wilfred? Are your teachers learning you lots of stuff?
Archie, they're not learning me. They're teaching me.
Oh. Well, that's what they're there for. Well, you're looking fine, Wilfred. Very manly. Are you eating good?
Yes, I get sufficient nourishment, thank you.
Well, you know, you got to eat good if you want to grow up to be a big, strong man like your Uncle Archie. You know how I got this physique of mine?
Malnutrition?
Yes, sir, and plenty of it. Yeah, Wilfred, I always eat lots of bread, potatoes, pancakes.
Well, I'm on a diet that precludes carbohydrates.
Yeah. What's they?
Starches. I'm not permitted to have starches.
Well, that's right, Wilfred. Starches ain't good for you. You know, they make your stomach stiff. Well, see, anyways, Wilfred, I said start the music. Wilfred, you're in for a big treat. Bob Gray, my singer, who is also a college man, has brought over a few of his sorority brothers here. They're going to treat us with a Christmas carol. Go on, fellas, sing and make it Christmassy, huh?
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, found young virgin, mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in
It sounded like a December whipping pup. Eddie, pass the hat for the boys.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Arthur, ain't that Mr. Monty Woolley coming in?
Oh, yeah. Monty Woolley. Look at the guy, Eddie. Well, good evening, Mr. Woolley. Well, Monty, good to see you again. I trust that you and I can pick up our acquaintance from whence we left off.
I'm sure we can. My revulsion is undiminished.
Well, thanks, Monty, old boy.
Old boy. This is the first time I have ever heard of contempt breeding familiarity.
I wish I knew if he was smiling. Monty, why is it that you take this antagonistic attitude towards me?
Well, frankly, I think of you as a possible menace to my future.
Me? Oh, why?
Well, someday, when I am too old to play juvenile,
yeah,
I may want to go back to my old profession, instructor of English. By the time you're through with it, I may find myself teaching a dead language.
Well, you know, it's a lucky thing for you that was a veiled insult.
Why, I did this. Hey, mister, that's a funny place to wear a grass skirt.
Oh, the darn thing always hikes up.
Finnegan, please, no remarks, Kay, about the beaver cage.
So, I apologize, mister. So, I promise I won't tell you about your beard again. After all, I'm human.
Sir, you presume.
Look, I'm sorry, Monty, but I hope you'll understand. You know, the guy takes a look at that. Finnegan, put down that match.
All right, let me do it. I never gave a guy a hot beard.
Look, beat it, will you, Finnegan? I'm having enough trouble with this guy. Monty, tell me something. What are you doing Christmas Eve?
Well, we have an old custom in our family. I always take Grandma to the fight.
Well, that's very sweet, but the fights get out pretty early. Now, here's what I had in mind. How would you like a part here on Christmas Eve? Playing the part of...
Playing the part of what?
Monty, why don't we have a bite to eat? Eddie, how about some refreshments for Mr. Woolley?
Just a moment. I eat here. I'd sooner die.
No, there is no sooner way.
Just a second, Eddie.
Mr. Woolley, don't let Eddie frighten you. The food isn't that bad.
Well, have you, sir, ever eaten in this cadaver's commissary?
Well, Duffy's is no rip.
Do tell.
Monty, you see, every Christmas Eve we have a big party here at Duffy's. You know, the joint is full of kids. They come down to get their fathers, you know. And we have a Christmas tree and wreaths around, and every kid gets a candied pig's foot. And I usually write a Christmas pageant.
You can write?
Like a whiz. Now, the only thing we yet ain't got set yet.
Well, now, what is it? What is it that you yet ain't got set yet?
Santa Claus.
Now, just a second, you Brooklyn Knoll coward.
Now, please, Monty, don't get excited. And, by the way, Brooklyn and Knoll don't go with each other anymore. Look, playing the part of Santa Claus, it'd be so much fun. And look what a challenge it'd be for you as a pedestrian.
A challenge?
Well, sure. It'd be the toughest role of your career. You playing a sweet guy. And, when you give out them toys to them little kids, think of the thrill you'll get out of it.
Yes. I can already feel the patter of tiny feet on my face.
Look, Monty. Wait, you was a kid once yourself, wasn't you?
There's no record of it.
Wait. Gee, if you could just talk to one of them kids and see what it's like. Wait a minute. Hey, Finnegan, is your kid brother Wilfred still here?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Wilfred, come here. I want you to meet Santa Claus.
Now, listen, you...
Look, Monty, what can you lose? Just kid the kid along.
Did you call me, Archie?
Yeah, Wilfred. I got a great treat for you. Guess who this is? Wilfred, this is Santa Claus.
Well. Not the Santa Claus.
That's right, young man. Ho, ho, ho. Well, son, I'll be coming down your chimney Christmas Eve.
Well, thank you very much. But we have an oil burner. Say, Mr. Claus, I understand you live up at the North Pole.
I do? Oh, yes, I do.
You know, of course, that the average temperature of the North Pole is estimated at 70 to 90 degrees below zero Fahrenheit.
Well, it does get a bit nippy. But then one can always grab a snort of...
Sandy! Snort of Sandy, of course, only drinks soft drinks, Wilfred.
That's right, Wilfred. Very soft. Cotton gin.
Yes, Wilfred, now see that you're a good boy, because on Christmas Eve, Santa Claus calls on every good little boy and girl.
How did you know where they live?
Well, there's all their numbers in a little red book.
Yeah, it's some mighty fine numbers, that little red book.
Oh, this is so ridiculous. Preposterous.
Huh? Wilfred, you don't mean that you believe in Santa Claus?
Oh, Archie, please. It's an amusing legend. It's rather pleasant, this Santa Claus. But this man plays him so badly.
Why, you...
Now, take it easy, Monty. Monty, leave go of the kid's throat. Wilfred, put down them tweezers. So what, Monty? You know, the kid's a bit of a critic.
Please leave me get out of here.
Look, Monty, I'm sorry it turned out like this, but...
Archie, don't be silly. I'll be happy to be here Christmas Eve.
You will?
Yes, playing Santa Claus with Wilfred, with a bag slung over my shoulder. And do you know what I hope to have in that bag?
What?
Wilfred. Goodbye.
And now, you lousy little genius.
Now, Archie, please. You don't actually expect an educated man of 8 to believe Santa Claus.
Don't I? Look, Wilfred, maybe there ain't no real Santa Claus with no red coat jumping down chimneys. Okay, but there is something that a kid like you should get wise to. Something that kind of makes people do wonderful things for each other at Christmas time, and I like to call it Santa Claus. It's something inside of all of us, kid, that if we're right guys, we'll turn each one of us into a Santa Claus, see? With every guy loving his fellow guy and working with him to bring goodwill into the world, peace, and a gift. Don't tell me that there ain't no that kind of a Santa Claus.
That's sounding, Mr. Archie. And, hey, this package just comes for you.
Oh, yeah? Let me look. Hey, it's my present from Duffy. Now, Wilfred, here is what I'm talking about. This package says don't open till Christmas, but I want to teach you a lesson. See? So I'll open it. Now, here's a guy named Duffy. You know, he's mean, stingy, cheap, and yet, at Christmas time, he changes and gives me this picture of himself. Autographed to my dear employee, Archie. Where was I, Wilfred? Oh, yeah, you see? Maybe there ain't no real Santa Claus with no red coat, chimneys, but I believe that... Duffy Tavern. Oh, hello, Duffy. By the way, Duffy, thanks for that picture. It's just the kind of a thing I wouldn't have bought for myself. So, Merry Christmas to you and Mrs. Duffy and all of our friends. So long, Duffy. Radio service.
Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. In this week before Christmas, there's probably more friendliness in the air than at any other time of the year. As we grow older, it's not the gifts of Christmas that we feel, but the friendly spirit back of them, the good smile, the warm hand clasp of neighbors and friends. When these friends and relatives gather with your own family in your own home, you realize what it means to have a home in a free country. In anticipation of these friendly gatherings, many of you will be adding the finishing touches of house cleaning this week. Among other things, going over waxed floors, furniture, and woodwork to make them gleam with beauty. The makers of Johnson's Wax are proud that their humble product find a useful place in your preparations for a warm-hearted Christmas season. Have you ever waited till the last minute to buy your Christmas tree, only to find that the dealers were all sold out? You have? Well, then maybe you can whip up a little throb of sympathy for Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Well, I'm afraid it's no use, McGee. We've been to 7 different lots, and we haven't seen a loose spruce.
Don't worry. I'll get us a Christmas tree if I have to chop one off the courthouse lawn.
Well, then I'll have to change my Christmas present for you.
Huh?
That war bond. I'll make it a bail bond.
Yeah.
Say, why on earth didn't you go buy a tree last week, as I suggested?
Because they were asking ridiculous prices, that's why. Most of them slum-raised lumber jerks were asking $7.50 for a bow-legged little balsam no bigger than a whisk broom.
You think they get cheaper as they get scarcer?
That ain't the point. The point is to find the guy that's overstocked, see? Afraid he isn't going to get rid of them by Christmas. Get one for a song that way.
We should have brought Nelson Eddy with us then. I've heard you sing in the shower, and that soapy opera of yours wouldn't get us anything but a raspberry bush. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Nesmith.
Who's that?
Mrs. Nesmith.
Oh. Say, there's a lot right along in here someplace where the guy had 1 million trees last week, and he can't possibly... Oh, here it is. Come on.
Oh, that must be the salesman. I beg your pardon, sir, but is that Christmas tree for sale, and if so, how much... Well, heavenly days, Uncle Dennis.
Hello, Molly, darling, and Fibber, lad.
Hi, Unc. Where's the sap in charge of the saplings? We want to negotiate for a live log.
Well, now, I'm sorry, lad, I am indeed. The gentleman in charge of this Christmas tree lot, a fine lad by the name of Monahan, may his pretzels never grow soggy, as he is one of the grandest guys that ever tripped a fruit peddler to take his hungry mother a big juicy apple, has closed up and gone home.
Yeah, but we wanted to buy this Christmas tree, Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, not that it's much of a tree. I've seen better fur on a mouse.
Well, now, isn't it a shameful thing that you should be too late and all like that? It was only 10 minutes ago, lad, by your very own wristwatch, which I happened to be wearing as it was lying about loose in your top dresser drawer, and I don't happen to have one myself, it was sold.
Oh, dear, but there's no sales tag on the tree, Uncle Dennis.
And who, may I ask, was stupid enough to dish out good dough for that beetle-bitten hunk of tumbleweed?
It was myself.
You? You? You bought the last Christmas tree in this lot, knowing that we didn't have one?
Now. And how was I to know that a smart gazoo like yourself would be getting caught without a tree? It was a bargain given to me by my good friend Monahan, who is quite a man at singing the camalias, which are a regular feature of Grogan's beefsteak dinners. May they soon be resumed when Hitler, that dirty little house painter, gets his comeuppance and Hito finds our heroes turning on the Hito.
Say, why do you want a Christmas tree, Uncle Dennis? You live with us.
Come on, Unc, sell it to us, will you? What do you say? Whatever you paid for it, I'll toss an extra 2 bits on the drum.
2 bits? That I could not do, lad.
Huh?
'Twas buying this tree for a dear friend I was. And there ain't enough money in the world to make Dennis Driscoll betray a trust. And the very idea is enough to make my old father, may the little people keep his pipe lit for him, look down and say, would you think of making it $2 extra now?
No, I wouldn't.
That's ridiculous.
Very well, you can't blame a man for trying to pick up a couple of bucks. A very Merry Christmas to you. Oh, turn on the tail, people.
That's my own uncle.
Of all the dirty, low-down tricks, a fine Christmas spirit. Chipping his own family out of the last Christmas tree in town.
You think it really is, dearie?
Well, it might be. Come on, let's look some more. Goodwill toward men. That was a fine sample of it. Here we are with the whole world full of misery, needing friendship and sacrifice more than any time in history, and what happens? We get popped with a balsam. If that ain't the dirty...
Oh, McGee, look.
Huh?
There's the Christmas tree place right there. And there's Alice Darling coming out of it. Yoo-hoo, Alice.
Oh, hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Alice. Don't tell us you're shopping for a Christmas tree, too.
Oh, jeepers, no, Mr. McGee. On account of anybody who was silly enough to wait till now to buy their Christmas tree is simply just too stupid for anything. What are you doing down here?
We're buying a Christmas tree.
Oh, well, that's what I say. It's much better to wait till the last minute when it isn't so crowded and the trees are much fresher or something. When I bought my tree 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago?
If you bought a tree, what'd you do with it, Alice? We didn't see it around the house anyplace. And a pine tree ain't exactly what you might call unobtrusive.
Oh, well, I didn't buy it for me, Mr. McGee, on account of jeepers. I've only got one room, and a girl which she lives in just one room only needs a little piece of mistletoe. You know what that is. That's the ivy that if you don't meet the right people under it, it's poison.
Ah, dear, and if you do, it's the berries.
Why, Molly.
Oh, I just love Christmas time because that's when you can dash up to people and kiss them like it was a sudden impulse. And I've already made out a list of the sweetest men to have sudden impulses about. Oh, that's one nice thing about being a girl. You can be girlish and people don't think anything about it.
Now I know what I forgot to get Alice for Christmas, dearie. Lipstick.
Yeah, that brotherly love stuff is great, ain't it, Alice? Particularly when you run out of brothers.
Well, I don't want that you should get the idea that I simply rush around kissing simply everybody, Mr. McGee, because really I'm a very reserved character. You know, once I was in love with a fellow for 3 years, and he never even held my hands, and then he married another girl.
Oh, who was that, Alice?
Cary Grant. Creepers, I'd like to have met that man. Well, I hope you find a Christmas tree, Mr. McGee. Goodbye now.
Well, shall we give it up, McGee?
No, sir. I started out to get a Christmas tree, and by the curly cotton cover crop of a corner Kris Kringle, I'm going to get a Christmas tree.
Well, you might fly up to Canada and get one, but it would be a lonesome trip.
What do you mean?
The other geese won't be flying back for a couple of months yet.
Okay. Scoff if you want to. Be right. But I'm telling you if I...
Merry Christmas, Miss Perry.
Who was that?
Miss Perry.
Oh. I'm telling you, Molly, when I set out to get a Christmas tree, by George, Hey, here's a place on the corner here.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Say, Alice Darling might have told us she was getting one. She could have got us one at the same time.
Well, what do you expect of people? Consideration? It's no wonder they always picture Santa Claus as a fat mug standing there holding the bag. My gosh,
Oh,
people...
look, McGee, this place seems to have plenty of trees.
Yeah, they had plenty last week, too. And the guy that runs this pocket-picking concession thinks no more of a quarter than I do of my left leg. Pocket-picking concession. Pocket-picking papa. That guy wouldn't lend you a match without a 4 cosigners. Hi, bud. Remember me?
Yeah. You were the guy last week that waved a dollar bill at me. And for that, I was supposed to sell you a 12-foot tree, deliver it, trim it, sing 3 Christmas carols, and carve you a turkey.
Listen, we couldn't get a turkey. We're having chicken.
Yeah. We're having turkey. Now, don't take me so literally. Look, bud, if you have a nice, reasonable price tree, we might...
Yeah, we got only one left.
Better take it quick, dearie.
Not so fast. They like to haggle a little bit. Now, which tree is it, bud? If it's the right size...
You're leaning on it.
Heavenly days, that one?
You call this broken-down bird sanctuary a Christmas tree? Well, I've seen better trees than that in an old pair of tennis shoes. That moth-eaten bramble looks like it was raised in a cold hothouse.
How much is it, sir?
Much too much, lady. The price is way out of line. If I was you, I'd skip it.
Don't tell me how much I can pay for a tree, bud. I'm not as poor as I may look.
I hope not, friend. You look like a holdout from a handout.
Well, how much?
$12.
$12? $12 for that sad-looking cedar? Why, that cone carrier's got more broken branches than the Berlin Public Library. And look at those bare limbs. You could sure find a haystack in those needles. And besides, last week you only wanted $9 for the same tree.
Last week the town was full of Christmas trees. And furthermore, Oh, hiya, Mr. Wilcox.
Hello there, Louie. How are you, Molly? Hiya, Fibber.
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Junior. What you looking so happy about?
Who, me? No, I don't know. Just the old Christmas feeling, I guess. I love this time of year, don't you?
Oh, I guess everybody does, Mr. Wilcox. Got your Christmas window shopping all done?
Just about. And I suppose the presents are all piled up at your house.
We stack them on the piano, Junior.
Yeah, and from the looks of the Christmas tree situation, that's where they're going to stay, too.
Yeah.
Oh, so what? It won't hurt anything. Not when anyone keeps the piano and woodwork and lampshades and windowsills and everything protected from scratching and holiday wear and tear like you do with Johnson's wax.
Oh, it's nothing.
You think it's nice, Junior? You think it's nice to be so commercial about Johnson's wax on a holiday like Christmas? You think that's very cool?
This, pal, is Tuesday. Christmas is Saturday. And on Saturday, I say nothing about Johnson's wax. I merely say things like, thank you. And, gee, that's wonderful, but you shouldn't have done it. And, very little ice in mine. And stuff like that.
Well, personally, we've been so upset trying to get a Christmas tree, Mr. Wilcox, that we haven't...
Excuse me, Molly. Hey, Louie, how much is this tree here?
$12, Mr. Wilcox. It ain't worth it, frankly, but it's the last one I got.
I'll take it. Here's 15, and wish yourself a Merry Christmas with the rest of it.
For $3, I can wish myself 6 Merry Christmases. Thanks, Mr. Wilcox.
Hey, wait a minute. I was dickering for that tree myself, Wilcox. Now, looky here, Louie.
To you, friend, the name is Mr. Zambowski. And we can't do no business. The tree is sold.
You see, Mr. Wilcox, we were...
Gee, I wouldn't have had this happen for anything in the world, folks, if I'd only known you wanted it. I thought you were merely friends of Louie here.
He should live so long.
They say a man can't have too many friends, but in your case, Bud, it would be too many. Now, look, Wilcox, we haven't got a Christmas tree, and we were merely trying to decide about...
Believe me, pal, believe me, I'm terribly sorry. To think that I should walk in and grab it right out from under your nose.
Oh, gee whiz.
Well, I ought to be ashamed of myself. I'll take it with me, Louie. Well, I'll see you later, kids. To think that I should pull a shabby trick like that on my best friend.
Well,
I'm afraid it was your own fault, dearie. You had the first chance at it. Well, Merry Christmas, Mr. Zambowski.
And the same to you, lady.
Come on, McGee.
Standing there like a friend, chatting away as gabby as you please, and all the time. Oh, this hurts.
Oh, heavenly days. We don't have to have a tree, you know. Lots of people don't.
It ain't not having a tree that bothers me. It's the way my friends and relatives undercut and chisel on me. Uncle Dennis, Alice Darling, Harlow Wilcox. Christmas spirit. Where is it? And here when I had a chance to get a beautiful big tree.
That isn't what you told the man it was.
Oh, my gosh, you can't have any fun dickering with guys if you tell them how beautiful their merchandise is. First make a man ashamed to ask the price he's asking, see? And then when you get...
McGee, I think... Oh, Merry Christmas, Mr. Kramer.
Who's that?
Mr. Kramer.
What were you saying?
I was about to say that I think the grocery store's about our last chance to get a tree. Might as well look. Just a few doors down, you know.
Oh, my gosh, I never thought of that. Come on. I'm not so sure about buying a tree at the grocery either. Jimmy Sale will probably ask us 8 green points for it.
I don't think it. Look in the window, McGee. They still got a couple. Hurry up now.
These are both sold, and Lady Luck could know what I think of her. She'd forget she was a lady.
Well, one is sold, McGee, but the other still has a price tag on it.
How much?
Let me see. $6.
Oh, boy, that's a deal. I'm going to grab onto this till the clerk gets here, too. Anybody that gets this tree away from me will have to start trimming it with my 2 arms.
Well, as the taxi driver said when Einstein got out of the crowded cab, this is certainly a mind off of my load.
Yes, sir. Next time, maybe you'll believe me when I tell you that I know what I'm talking about.
Hello there, Fibber. Hello, Molly.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, Doc, old man. Happy Yuletide and all stuff like that there.
Why are you hugging the tree, McGee? Just a nature lover, or are you going to climb it and hunt for bird's nests?
Oh, he's just making sure nobody beats him out of it till the clerk gets around to him, Doctor.
Yeah, till this deal is signed, sealed, and delivered, I stick to this trunk like a baggage label. Pretty nice little spruce, eh, Doc? Spruce.
It's not a spruce. Douglas fir. Douglas firs.
I thought it was a balsam.
Might be some kind of a cedar.
Might be some kind of a cypress, too, but it isn't.
You know, my cousin had one of those on his farm near Peoria. We squeezed apples in it every fall.
In what?
A cider press.
Oh. I didn't say cider press. I said cypress.
Oh.
The cypress is a symmetrical evergreen common to the western United States. Very interesting study, that of our non-deciduous trees. The pine tree, like most coniferous trees, is an evergreen, the larch being a conspicuous exception.
Oh, are you an expert on plants and trees, Doctor?
Well, it used to be a hobby of mine, Molly. Botany's a very interesting subject.
Of the two, which do you like best, Doc?
Of which two?
Plants and trees or botany?
Why, they're the same thing, dearie. I had it in high school. In fact, I was the pistol-packing mama of the lily collectors.
I thought maybe Doc knew so much about him because he was a tree surgeon at heart.
No, but if I ever hear of a sap needing a transfusion, I'll know where to come.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'd show you who was a sap if I dared let loose of this tree for a
Oh,
minute.
now, boy.
One excuse is as good as any, McGee. By embracing that tree, you're probably saving yourself a few very spectacular contusions.
Is that so?
Yes.
Why, you unreasonable facsimile of a male brother. For 2 aspirin tablets...
Now, McGee. Is that any way to talk while hugging a Christmas tree?
No, it isn't, Molly, and it was my fault. Sorry, McGee. No time for quarrels.
Okay, Doc. Well, then, I'm a little hasty myself at times.
Not about buying Christmas trees.
Well, real friends are too scarce to fight with them. In fact, McGee, I retract all the unpleasant things I ever said about you in the past.
Oh, I do too, Doc. I even take back the stuff I thought about you. That's even dirtier than what I said.
Well, now, this is better. You know, Christmas is a time when we should all be friends.
I think so, too. Let bygones be bygones, McGee. Be pals.
Well, it goes for me, too, Doc. Here, I'd like to shake your hand.
Good. So would I.
Isn't that nice?
Wait till I get untangled from this weeping willow here, and put her there, Doc.
I think this is one of the sweetest things I ever
Hey,
saw.
all right, Doc. Let go of my hand.
Wait a minute. Hey, Joe!
Yes, Doctor?
Put that Christmas tree in my car, will you?
What?
Hey, wait a minute. Now, look, Doc.
Pay for it the next time you come in.
Doggone it, Doc. Let go of my hand, will you? You double-crossing double... Doc Gamble! Come back here with that Christmas tree or
Cheer up, McGee. Heavenly Days, it isn't a Christmas tree that makes Christmas, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's the Christmas spirit. Christmas spirit, blah. All I've seen of it today...
Merry Christmas, Mr. Crockett.
Who was that?
John Crockett from Washington.
Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Here it is, the season where everybody is supposed to love everybody, so what do? They go around grabbing Christmas trees out of people's hands. The timber thieves. The first guy that says Merry Christmas to me, I'm going to hang up my sock right on his chin. Merry Christmas, bud.
Same to you. Thanks.
Who was that?
Search me. I got as much right to holler at people on the street as you have. Doggone it, if those so-called throat-cutting, sheep-stealing friends of mine knew how bad I wanted that tree, I'd... Hey.
What?
What if we string the colored lights on that rubber plant of yours and...
Oh,
no. That's no good. Doggone it, I trust people too much. But not now. Take a good look at your husband, Mrs. McGee. You recognize him?
Why shouldn't I?
Because he just had his faith lifted, that's why. From now on, little Fibber's going to go along looking after little Fibber. Period. As long as everybody is throwing the love your fellow man stuff overboard, I might just as well...
Hi, Mr. McGee. Hi, Miss McGee. Merry Christmas.
Oh, hi, little girl. And if you must yammer out those Yuletide wall mottos, sis, just say, a good December 25th to you. Or season's greetings, sir, or something like that. Skip the Merry Christmases as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, he's a little disappointed. He'll get over some.
Yeah, I'll get over this like Dan McGrew got over his lead poisoning. Sis, I'm glad I saw you while you were still young. If you still believe in this...
Hey, mister.
Huh?
Look up on your front porch.
What do you mean, look up on our front porch?
Why, McGee, look, the porch is full of Christmas trees.
Why, what in the...
I've just been reading the tags on them, mister.
Huh?
There's one from Dr. Gamble and one from Mr. Wilcox and Alice Darling and one from Billy Mills, I bet you, and one from Uncle Dennis and
Oh,
one...
my gosh. You mean they were all buying them trees for us? Well, I never thought... Well, gee whiz, come on. Boy, oh, boy.
Hero.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, my heavenly days. Here's the King's men and everybody. McGee, get out the root beer. I'll get some cookies.
Just a small root beer for me, McGee. I got to operate in the morning.
McGee, can you close your mouth and pull in your eyeballs long enough to thank these people for the Christmas trees?
Well, look, everybody, gee whiz, all I can say is, well, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. McGee.
What do you want, sis?
Look, I got my whole gang here again. Kenny and Bud and Johnny and Reddy and Billy Mills and all the fellas, and we thought maybe it'd be nice to sing that same song we sang last Christmas.
Well, sis, that's a wonderful idea. People have been writing in all year asking us to do that again. So here's The Night Before Christmas, as originally set to music by Ken Darby of the King's Men.
The night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all warm in their wee little beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I, if I can, have just settled down for a long winter's nap.
Went out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw open the sash. Then, what to my wondering, I should appear but a minute you stay, handing tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick that I knew right away that it must be St. Nick. Full bundled in fur from his head to his foot, old Santa was covered with ashes and soot. I drew in my head and was turning around, when down the chimney he came with a
His eyes, how they twinkle. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a little old pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke went around and around and around his head like a wreath. He was the chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. Then I laughed and I laughed and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. He had a broad face, oh, chuckle and a smile. I knew all the while I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings.
Oh, boy.
Then turned with a jerk. Then laying a finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his feet gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good
Oh, is he gone?
Is the night after Christmas and all through the house. Not a creature is stirring, not even the mouse. The presents are scattered and broken, I fear, and St. Nicholas won't come again for a year. The children are nestled all warm in their wee little beds, while memories of sugar plums dance in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap are settled at last for a long winter's
Ladies and gentlemen, most of you have brothers and fathers and sons, yes, and maybe daughters in the service, here and overseas.
Yes, so when you write to them next, please tell them they have the sincere and heartfelt wishes for a speedy and safe return and a Merry Christmas from
Fibber, McGee.
and Molly.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Words at War presents Logbook. 1, 2, 3, woof. 1, 2, 3, woof. Got it?
Okay. Balance good. Recording is ready.
We'll start on your signal.
Go ahead in 10 seconds from now.
All right, Jack. Say what you want. Say it how you please. Speak the truth of what you know. Now.
I'm an Englishman, a sailor. My first name is Jack. I'm sitting here with a funny little stump where a perfectly good right foot used to be. The radio people have asked me to tell you what happened. To tell you also what I'm fighting for. Me and others like me. Well, we were torpedoed. Some of us got on a raft. We were lucky. I'd been so badly wounded, I was losing consciousness. But I remember 2 or 3 things. I remember how one man, I'll never know who, held on to me the whole time to keep me from slipping off. I remember McDavid, the second engineer, with a little oar about 3 feet long, smacking away to scare the sharks. I remember lots of things. Yes, and we had plenty of time to think what it was we were fighting for. Plenty.
at War. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with the Council on Books in Wartime, brings you another adaptation of an important war book, Logbook, by Frank Lasquier, British merchant seaman. Lasquier, torpedoed 3 times in this war, lost a leg on the 3rd, and during his convalescence was invited before the microphones of the British Broadcasting Company. The story he told electrified his countrymen. Now Frank Lasquier has written Logbook, a novel that doesn't tell his own life, but a story not unlike it.
I was a tall lad for my years, insignificant member of a large family, and a problem to my parents. My father ran a laundry. A battle, silent, unresting, went on in me.
Come, boy, up to it. This is a laundry I'm trying to run, not a morgue.
Where do these go?
The large bundle of wet wash goes to Mrs. Broadby, and those fresh shirts to McCready's. On your way back, stop at Mrs. Parsons and pick up some dirty linen.
Is that all?
That's all. Oh, Jack.
Yes, Father?
I know what's eating you. It's not because I'm your father that I know, but as a man who sailed the seas and knows the feeling.
Dick's gone to sea. He's working in a tanker. Joe's in a banana boat, and I'm in my father's laundry.
You're a big boy now, Jack. Too big to go moping around like a jilted bride. Because your mother and I are against a sailor's life for you.
But why? You were a sailor. Mother's 3 brothers are all seamen. Why am I, of all the
I
family?
know the sea. I know that it makes fools of wise men and wiser men of fools. Jack, you're a headstrong lad, and you're likely to pay dearly for what wisdom you may gather. But don't run up too big a bill for yourself.
But, Father...
No, they're waiting for the laundry boy. Hurry it up now.
Way, oh, way upon the salt sea.
My father was gentle. I almost wished he wasn't. I dreamed of being beaten by a cruel parent, of making a desperate escape to a life at sea, to the jolly tars and the Spanish Main. My departure, when it came, was more ordinary. Sent one day to take laundry to a ship, I went aboard as ordered, took the money from the chief officer, and surrendered a parcel of clean shirts. On the gangway, picking my way over railway lines, I passed another ship in dry dock. The dockyard gang was taking the balks of timber from the ship's side as the dock filled with water. The gangway hovered loose and fluffy, ready to be swung up and inboard, and I passed this scene.
Hey there, you lad.
Yes, sir?
You want a trip to Australia?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you 18?
I am.
You got a father or a mother?
No, sir. And I've been on one trip before.
Come on, I'll get you on.
With 6 shillings of stolen laundry money and boundless faith, I started my career at sea.
His father was a laundryman, hullabaloo belay. Hullabaloo balabalay, his father was a laundryman, and he went off to sea, and he went off to sea.
Gibraltar was passed early one morning, a clean, beautiful sight, with the blue waters of the straits and the whiteness of a Spanish village on one side. Then, port side, I was robbed right and left, and gave one bearded, lecherous scoundrel 10 shillings for 4 filthy photographs. Then the canal, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf. Then Abadan, with the greasy, pervading stench of crude oil. I learned the life of a ship and the life of the ports. And meanwhile, I became impudent and full of my own importance. I didn't care much for work or for the boatswain's watchful eye.
Hey, you.
Yes, sir.
What do you think this is? Look here.
What do I think what is, sir?
Looks like dirt to me. Dirt. When did you scrub this forecastle?
Oh, yes, now.
Don't lie to me or I'll knock it out of you. Now get down and scrub it, you hear? Now.
Yes, sir.
I know your kind. Running away to sea for adventure. You'll not find it. Instead, you'll spend your life running away. And when you finish scrubbing that floor, get some fresh water. And then scrub it again.
And all he did was scrub the deck, hullabaloo-belay, hullabaloo-bala-belay, with the bosun always at his neck, hullabaloo-belay.
Poor bosun. I didn't know anything then about the years of toil behind some of my shipmates, the unending labor, and the wives and mothers at home with struggles of their own. I had it all to learn. But I remember well what bosun got for his years of toil. One day, as I was doing some cleaning on bridge, the sailors were painting ship. I watched the bosun as he was hauled up in a chair to the truck of the foremast. Up he went, his bare arms and shoulders silhouetted against the blue, sunny sky. The little patch of bald on the top of his head gleamed with sweat. Up, up, up he went.
Hold it! Hold it there!
And the sailor below bent the end of the line around the cleat. And then, suddenly, the line slipped. It landed in a soft, huddled heap. There was a thud as his head jerked back and burst on the pipeline. I couldn't move, couldn't take my eyes from that dreadfully pathetic figure as I saw it twist and die below me. The sun beamed on, and the engine chuffed on like a tired old local train. That night, sewn up in white canvas, his body was laid on the poop deck, covered with a flag. They tilted the hatchboard. The body turned one pitiful somersault and landed with a thud in the black waters.
And he sank into the lowland, lowland, lowland. He sank into the lowland sea.
We never mentioned the bosun. Went on. Australia, the Indies, and then back again. And all the time, I became cockier and more sure of myself. I was paid off at Falmouth, got my railway warrant, and left for home. I got there at about 7:15 in the evening. I walked up the little walk to the door, giving a creditable imitation of a sailor's roll, and then burst in. Hello! Anybody home there? Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Well, I say, isn't anyone going to even say hello?
Hello, Jack.
Oh, Jack. Why haven't you written in all these months?
There she sits and all is still, all alone to cry her fill.
I didn't realize then, until years later, the pain and disappointment I'd caused my parents. I went back to Falmouth, signed on another tanker. Quite the old sea dog now. After all, I was 17. I learned to drink, to fight, to grow a mustache. Then, after 2 more trips, I went back again to my parents. This time they looked so tired and old, I decided to stay a while. I was 20 now. With a beautiful belief in myself, I was ready to take on any sort of job, selling and canvassing. Then, at the park concert, in the intermission, I met a girl. You come to the park often?
Only concert nights. There's something about listening to music outdoors.
Yes, I know what you mean.
It sounds so different out here. Cleaner.
Yes, it does.
That last number was beautiful.
So was she. And so sweetly spoken, I fell in love with her. She taught me all I've ever known about clothes, politeness, and good behavior. I began to have visions of settling down with a nice home and a beautiful wife. I worked harder, trying to sell vacuum cleaners on a commission basis. It was the only job I could get. But I didn't collect any commissions because I couldn't sell my vacuum cleaners. Soon, my funds were gone. The result was a foregone conclusion. Taking my girl out required money. Something had to happen. It was very simply done. I broke into a house, found 15 pounds and took it. The police were on my track almost at once. I was arrested and taken to a local prison. A horrible place, with long, dark, echoing halls interlaced with steel galleries, gloom and depression, and the filthy, loathsome smell of stuffed-up lavatories. The complete negation of everything that is clean and beautiful in life. My mother came to see me. I was dragged out, and in a bare little room, watched over by warders, I sat and looked at my mother.
I brought you some cake, Jack.
Thanks, Mother. From there, I was sent to a reformatory, where I saw all there is of moral degradation. For solace, they let me have books, P.G. Wardhouse stories, about people who had so much money they apparently never had to think about it or about unpaid bills. But I could never escape from my awful little room, the plank bed and the mattress. Hope died. Nothing was left but an automaton wandering aimlessly through life. After 2 years and 3 months, they released me. I went home, was welcomed and forgiven. I saw my girl once as I was striding along the street. She saw me, gave me one tragic look, and passed me by. I looked for a job then, but there weren't any on land, so I went back to sea, surly and nasty, feeling cheated because I couldn't make a go of it on shore. I took to the rule of the fist, spoiling for a fight. I arrived at Kingston, Jamaica, got drunk and rum, was adrift 3 days. At Santa Marta, I repeated the performance in tequila. 3 hours before the ship was due to sail, I was dragged from a cafe in a state that defies description. At Montego Bay, a black discharge was inevitable. I deserted ship. And then I sank still lower. That ship going back to England?
Yes, indeed. Want to sign on?
Sure.
I can use it, Rimmer.
Sure.
Discharge book?
No, sir.
Sign here. We sail tonight. And it's England, fair England, we'll see once again.
That ship was a sailor's Gethsemane. The food from the galley stunk. The forecastle was an evil-smelling, festering hole. My bed was a donkey's breakfast with one filthy blanket. The place had the horrifying smell of bugs about it. It permeated the whole ship. It was greasy and dirty, and the heat was terrifying. No refrigerator, one small icebox, not in use. And the food? Salt beef with maggots and biscuits with weevil. For the rest of my life, I've had to remember not to tap my bread on the table before eating it. And no free water. The issue was 1/2 bucket a day per man. And no soap. I remember in a cafe in San Pedro, I caught sight of myself in a fly-blown mirror behind the bar. A tall, thin man with a fish-belly complexion with ridges of dirt and grease. Then I heard the bartender say,
Hey, you.
What's the matter?
Drink up. Get it down and beat it. We don't encourage no wild bums here.
What shall you do with a drunken sailor? What shall you do with a drunken sailor? What shall you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
In Melbourne, at the Seaman's Mission, I asked the padre for some money.
I'm sorry, no, son. But of course you could have a bath, if you like.
After the bath, he offered me some clean clothes. We had tea together and talked. Padre, you've helped me. I feel different.
I'm glad. Son.
Yes?
Don't jump your ship.
Why not?
She's what you need to straighten you out. Keep on her. Work and try to recapture your love and understanding of beauty. Don't let it get you down.
All on the bowling, the ship she is a-rolling. All on the bowling, we're not licked yet. Mm-hmm.
That day, I went below and sang at my work. This time I wouldn't run away. I didn't. And at last, in Cardiff, I was paid off and was free. Oh, I wasn't on the right track yet. Not by a long shot. But perhaps I was no longer on the way down. I went home, saw Mother and Father, then shipped out again. Then, in various ports of the world, I began to see there were things going on I hadn't thought much about. I began to see fascism, the effects of it, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. I saw it first in Las Palmas. One lovely spring morning, we tied up there at Mole. I just got to tie up after the second mate and the remainder of the watch. When everything was finished, I stood with the mate and lit a cigarette. What's going on down there, Mr. Mate?
They're hungry.
So's the average sailor.
Oh, but these poor devils are in earnest. Hey, look at that old lady. And look on her quiet eyes. Oh, it's enough to turn your heart, ain't it?
The old lady caught my eye, and the naked appeal in her face sent pity surging through me. I turned around and saw Slush, the cook, coming up from the refrigerator. In his hand, he had a long strip of gristle and skin that is cut from the back of a sheep and is, presumably, no good for eating. The cook came up on deck and slung the refuse into the bin. Then he disappeared into the galley.
Hey, where you going, Jake?
I'm going to get that meat the cook tossed out. Watch. Here you are, old lady. Here.
Good Lord, look at him, dancing and delirious with pleasure. Here, you're not going to give her that.
Of course I am. I'll wash it off first, though. That's it. There we are. Mother, there we are. Over this way, Mother. Here you are. Here, Mother. This is for you.
Oh, muchas gracias, senor. Dios te contigo.
What is happening here? Listen, officer, I was only giving my girl here a little present.
Give me that. She does not need that.
Now, wait. Don't give that back to her. Do you hear me?
Why, you stupid foreigners. You...
Oh. Hey, Jack, come up here. Quickly, rush it. Hey, come on.
Hit him on the jaw and get on board. Hit him on the jaw and get on board. Hit him on the jaw and get on board. Early in the morning.
The old lady got her meat. The policeman was out cold. It was looking for me. The ship sailed that night. Then came September the 3rd, 1939. I was in a pub at home with Dick, my old boyhood chum, and a couple of other seamen. We were listening to the wireless. And...
Therefore, my countrymen, we are at war. It is evil things we...
Well, that's it, huh?
It was coming. We knew it. Well, I'm signing right on again tomorrow morning. The missus and kid won't like it, but I'm going. I'd like to get the ruddy hun in the sights of a dick gun.
I'm with you, Dick. How about you, Jack?
Yes, how about it, Jack?
Don't you listen to him, Jack. What do we owe this country? I'm asking you. Remember the last war and the profiteers? Well, they'll be around again. Why risk your life so that they can get fat on you? Come on, don't be a ruddy fool, Jack.
What about it, Jack?
You can count me in, Dick. I'm with you.
Blow you into the morning, blow you in hi-ho. We're in it all together now, and blow, blow, blow.
Dick and I joined the gun school at Liverpool. We passed the course and got our tickets. I became merchant seaman gunner 9009. We sailed out in separate convoys. Why did I go? I wasn't sure. I just went. What was I fighting for? What was I trying to defend? I didn't really know. Not then. I sailed. I came home 2 or 3 days at a time and sailed out again. On one trip, I found our street very quiet. My friend Dick was dead. I sailed out again. And on one of those trips, as 40-odd ships plunged and bucked along in convoy through the night, and the phosphorus gleamed in the wake of the ships, and I stood on deck at my gun watching, suddenly the world opened up in a blinding flash. Inferno was breaking loose. Bodies fell on the deck in a bloody glow, and suddenly I was thrown halfway across the deck. As I dragged myself to the rail and somehow managed to pull myself over it, I found I didn't have anything, and my right foot used to be.
It's blood and despair and the groans of the fair and the groans of the fair. the poor ship's side went he.
Then came the raft, the sharks, the rescue ship, the amputation, and then home. From Liverpool, they sent my mother a telegram and brought me on in a car. It was a bright, sunny day. The sky was clear blue, and our own little street was still there, safe and intact. Mother stood in the doorway. She wasn't crying. I got out of the car. I pulled my 2 crutches after me. Mother came to me with her usual short, toddling steps.
Come on in, Jack. Your tea is ready.
Sometime later, a gentleman came to see me.
Jack, dear, this is Mr. Defarge.
How do you do? I'm from the British Broadcasting Company. Oh. Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you. I heard over in Liverpool that you might have a story to tell. If it's a good story, there might be a fiver in it for you.
A good story?
Yes, it'll be easy. All you have to do is just get to a microphone and talk. Now then, I'll make all the...
So that's the way they think of it.
How do you mean?
A good story. The hours and watching the ghastly raft, the sharks snapping at your legs, and they want a good story.
Well, now, look here. I came here to...
Forgive me if I'm bitter, Mr. Defarge. You get that way, sitting here, staring at 2 crutches, and thinking about your life. So they wanted a story. I'd give them one. After he left, I thought it out. Dear people, I'd say, I'm Jack Fisher. You don't know me. I'm one of the bad boys. Once I was filthy and full of life and hope. The pure system sent me to a reformatory. What good did that do to my immortal soul? To learn the ins and outs of crime. You spent £80 a year, dear taxpayers, to keep me there. And when I got out, you spent your time and energy in keeping me from a job. But when the war started, you forgot all about that. It was, arise, British sailors, sail out and bring back our food for us. Don't mind the torpedoes or the dive bombers or the raiders. Please feed us. Okay, we did. We'll fight your war for you. We'll win. But by heaven, there'll be some interesting ceremonies afterwards. We'll win the peace, too. Good night. That's what I thought of saying. I sat in my room in front of the fire, dead, with one leg, crucifying myself. All the frustrations poured like poison into my brain. The fire became water, black water, a deep, dark ocean. Floating in the ocean was a dark body. It seemed to rise, floating gently to the surface, the clothes ballooning grotesquely about it. The head held back, water streaming through eyes and nose and ears. A great jagged gash in the side showed our death had come. The figure was revolving slowly in the water, up and up. I saw that it was Dick. Dick, my friend, looking up at me, his face unmasked.
Have you forgotten about me so soon, Jack? Put me on your ship. I never expected much from life and never had much. What I had, I fought for. From where I am now, I can hear my wife crying every night. My kid is lonely, too. Did you go to war out of bitterness? I didn't. Put me on your ship, Jack. Don't forget your friends. And the bosun. Remember him. And the old lady. The starving old lady. And don't forget the policeman, Jack. And the piece of meat. Remember us all, Jack. And tell them about us. Don't let us down, Jack. And you won't let yourself down.
into the lowland sea.
I felt a great peace then. If I could speak for even a moment for the people, the little people of the earth. So here I am, sitting at this microphone. My leg is a stump. I'm one of many, one of millions. I'm asked to tell you the truth of what I know. Well, I'm a sailor, an Englishman. My first name is Jack. I'm quite an ordinary sort of individual. All we sailors are. We have a job to do, and we do it.
This is the story, and now he's through. Pull, my lads, and we'll pull through. Johnny has gone off to sea. Oh.
As the 28th program of Words at War, we brought you a dramatization of Logbook by Frank Lasker. The book was adapted for radio by Edmund Burnbrier. The part of Jack was played by Harold Young. The music was adapted and sung by Tom Glazer. William Meader was at the organ. The production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. Next week, Words at War will present an adaptation of The Ninth Commandment by Hendrik Willem van Loon, who will appear in person to tell the story of the rape of Holland. Words at War is brought to you in cooperation with the Council on Books in Wartime by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
Salute. Your health, senor.
Roma toasts the world. The wine for your table is Roma, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Tonight in Hollywood, Roma brings you as star Mr. Peter Lorre. The suspense play which stars Mr. Lorre and which is produced and directed by William Spear is called Back for Christmas. In this series, Roma brings you tales calculated to intrigue you, stir your nerves, to offer you a precarious situation and then withhold the solution until the last possible moment. And so, with Back for Christmas and with the performance of Peter Lorre, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride when was open. Yes, Marty?
What on earth are you doing down here in the cellar?
Oh, just doing a little digging.
And why, may I ask, have you chosen this day of all days to dig up the cellar floor?
Oh, I thought because the weather has been so damp, this would be a good time to plant that little devil's garden I told you about.
Devil's garden? Whatever nonsense is that?
Don't you remember that was my little joke about it? You see, I've managed to get hold of the spores of several unclassified wild orchids. In their wild state, they bloom under damp masses of leaf mold. The South American Indians call them devil flowers because they appear to bloom under the ground.
Well, I'm sure the South American Indians will be very interested if you succeed in growing these ridiculous flowers under the cellar floor. Whom else it will interest, I can't imagine.
Oh, what's that terrible smell?
Oh, that's the leaf mold. Chemically identical with the earth blanket they grow under in a wild state. And I want to get these started before we close the house.
Do you realize that we're sailing for America a week from today, and you've made no arrangements whatever? Unless you call digging a hole in the cellar making arrangements. I certainly don't. Devil's garden, indeed. Sometimes I think you're going soft in the head, Hubert.
Oh, I suppose it is inconsiderate of me. You see, I've been wanting to try this experiment for a long time, but with all those lectures and seminars at the university, there never seemed to be enough time.
Well, there certainly isn't any time for it now. I suppose you've forgotten I made an appointment for you at the barber's this afternoon.
Oh, must I shave my beard off, Hermione?
I thought we'd been through all that. Of course you must. They don't wear beards in America. Bad enough you're speaking with that accent. They'll probably think we're Germans as it is.
Oh, I should think it would be quite easy just to explain it. I'm Swiss.
Now, Hubert, don't be argumentative. Go and get your jacket on and do as I tell you.
Yes, Hermione.
And don't forget to take your umbrella. It looks like rain.
Yes, Hermione.
And don't look so put upon, Hubert. Someone has to plan things in this house. Never even get to the university in time for your lectures, much less make arrangements for a trip to America.
I know, but what about my specimens?
There'll be plenty of time to plant your precious devil's garden when we get home from America. We're not going to be gone forever, you know. We'll be back here for Christmas.
Yes, of course. Back for Christmas. I'd forgotten.
We'll try to remember it. And if you can't do that, just do as I tell you. I've been making the plans in this house for 20 years. And if there's any digging to be done, I'll manage that as well. You understand, Hubert?
Yes, Hermione.
Good. Now, you have just 20 minutes to clean up this mess down here and keep your appointment at the barber's. And when you finish there, I want you to come straight home.
All right. I wanted to stop at Miss Markham's and pick up some books I ordered.
Well, all right. But don't loiter there the whole afternoon mulling over those old books the way you usually do. Now, hurry and clear up this rubbish. Get rid of that smelly stuff. And no more digging, mind you.
No more digging. I'll show her. I'll have my devil's garden, and if no more digging, eh? No more digging. Oh, 15 men of Dutchmen's just you and a bottle.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Miss Markham.
Why, it is Professor Schumacher, isn't it?
Do you like me better this way?
You look ever so much younger without the beard. 20 years at least.
20 years.
Oh, you'll be glad to know those books you ordered have finally arrived.
Oh, yes, the books.
Let me see. The Phytotomy of Phalloid Gametophytes and Coniferous Shrubs of North America. Those are the ones you ordered, aren't they?
Yes, thank you. You're very kind, Miss Markham.
Why kind, Professor Schumacher?
Well, not many young ladies in bookshops would go out of their way to look up rare books for an old professor of botany.
Why, you're not old, Professor Schumacher. Really, you look...
What do I look like?
And besides, I adore botany. It's my particular hobby.
Oh, really? You've never told me that before, Miss Markham.
Well, I was afraid to. You looked so imposing with the beard and all.
Miss Markham, forgive me if this sounds foolish, but since talking with you today, I feel that shaving off my beard is the most important thing I've done for 20 years.
Oh, it is? I'm sure it is.
20.
I'm so sorry that I've been so distant with you all this time. Oh, there were times when I almost spoke up. Times when you came in here tired after a day with your students at the university. You seemed so alone. The way I'm alone in the world. I'd like to have asked you to stay a while and talk with me, but some way or other I always wind up giving you your change and letting you go on your way.
Say you're alone in the world?
Since my father died.
Oh, Miss Markham, did you never think of marrying?
My father was a very remarkable man. I never found anyone who seemed to measure up to what he led me to expect of men.
Miss Markham...
Oh, it's been so long since anyone called me by my first name. I'd like you to, if you want to. It's Marion.
Marion? Oh, how nice.
And yours?
Well, Hubertus. but in English, Hubert sounds better, huh?
How long have you been alone, Hubert?
Alone?
I knew you were a widower, of course. The first time I saw you.
A widower?
I can always tell. There's a certain sadness in a man's eyes. A sweet sadness, I think, when he's been married and then lost...
A widower. I never thought of it in quite that way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been talking like this, I suppose, but I've often wondered what she must have been like. Your wife, I mean.
Hermione? Not an easy woman to forget. Very strong. Always managing things. The house, my wardrobe, my friends. Even when we dined at a restaurant, she even then ordered my food. She was always managing things. Her whole life. Managed herself to death.
Poor woman. She must have loved you very much. But she needn't have put herself out so. It's plain to see you don't need things managed for you.
No.
You need companionship, I think. Someone sympathetic with your work. But the last thing on earth you need is a manager.
How well you put it. The last thing on earth.
Operator, are you there? I'm still waiting on that call to Salisbury. Well, put that on quickly. Hello. Is this Paul Holt and Sons? It's Mrs. Hubert Schumacher. Did you receive my letter? Good. Now remember, we'll be back for Christmas and I want the job done without fail. What's that? No, I'm sure he doesn't suspect anything. Send it to me in New York as I instructed you, addressed in my name, of course. Yes. I've already put them in the mail. You'll get them tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, here you are, Hubert. Where have you been?
Oh, backstairs. I dismissed the servants.
Dismissed the servants?
Mm-hmm.
But I've asked some friends of mine into a farewell luncheon. Go and tell them it's a mistake.
I'm afraid it's too late now. They've packed and gone.
You have messed things up properly. How many times have I told you to leave things to me? I make the plans around here.
Yes, Hermione.
You have to do better than this when I plan the trip home, or we'll never in the world be back for Christmas.
Back for Christmas. Back for Christmas. Must you keep saying that?
Why not? We are coming back for Christmas, aren't we?
Well, supposing I were offered a professorship in one of those wealthy American universities.
Nonsense. Americans care nothing for botany.
Well, Luther Burbank was an American, wasn't
he? That's different. What have you ever done except muck around in the dirt with a lot of roots and tubers?
Well, they asked me to lecture, didn't they?
All right. Now, there's no use getting yourself in a state about this, Hubert. No doubt this extra money will come in very handy when we arrive back
for Christmas.
Precisely. No good to make a joke of it. Heaven knows where you'd be today if I hadn't got a sense of time.
Yes, Hermione.
And as you've been so foolish as to dismiss the servants, you may empty the ashtrays and straighten up this room while we're waiting for the guests to arrive. I'm going in to have my bath. Call me when they get here.
Marion? It's Hubert. No, darling, no, nothing is wrong. Oh, my plans are the same, unless you have changed. No? Oh, we'll meet in New York then and be married there. Huh? Oh, I'll explain to you why later. You just have to trust me. Yes. Yes, madame.
Hubert?
I'm so sorry I can't talk any longer. Yes, I'll meet you in New York without fail. I'll be the same, mein Liebchen.
Hubert, were you talking on the phone just now?
Yes, Hermione.
Whoever was it?
Oh, Freddie Sinclair.
But didn't I hear you say something about meeting somebody in New York?
Why, yes. Freddie said he might possibly get over there before we even leave. And I said, of course, we'd meet him there if he decided to go.
That seems very peculiar. But then all of your friends are peculiar.
Yes, Hermione.
And just look at your jacket. Have you been digging in that cellar again?
Yes, Hermione.
Well, there's no need for it. You can't possibly get that Devil's Garden thing finished before we sail for America. Go and change your clothes before the guests arrive. Oh, never mind. I see somebody coming up the walk now. Go and let them in.
Yes.
Hubert.
Yes?
Look out the window. There's Professor and Mrs. Goodenough, but who's that with them?
Well, who...
Precisely. Freddie Sinclair. Peculiar you should have been talking to him on the phone not 3 minutes ago, and now here he is.
Yes, isn't it? But then, as you see, Hermione, all of my friends are peculiar.
Not half so peculiar as you. Digging in the cellar the very day we leave for America. Just look at yourself. And now that I think of it...
Yes?
Oh, never mind. Go and let them in.
Oh, you were going to ask me something, Hermione, about the hole I'm digging in a cellar.
Good heavens, stop rolling your eyes about that way. One would think you were digging a grave down there instead of a storage bin.
Yes, Hermione.
What's that?
I said yes, Hermione.
Father, open the door and please stop saying yes, Hermione.
I think, my dear, I have said it for the last time.
A professor of botany, his loving wife, and an oblong pit in the cellar. Just the right size for his botanical specimens, his devil's garden. With these ingredients for a story of a perfect crime, Back for Christmas by John Collier and starring Peter Lorre, the Roma Wine Company closes the curtain for a moment on another breathless study in suspense.
In this brief intermission in the play, it's pleasant to think about the holidays. Not everyone celebrates the holidays against a background of snow and pine trees. Somewhere south of the Gulf and the Caribbean, in a gracious home surrounded by palm trees in the warm sun, you might find holiday dinners ending this way.
One moment, please. Our North American guest wishes to propose a toast.
Yes, mis amigos. I drink a toast in gratitude to you for your gracious hospitality and the enjoyment you've given me, an American so far from home.
It is only a fair exchange, my friend. This wine in which you drink your toast, it brings enjoyment to us from your country, from America. It is Roma wine, made in your own California.
Yes, and when you choose the wine for your holiday table, remember this. Only a few wines are so fine that many countries of the world import them. And among these greatly enjoyable wines are the wines of Roma, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. Yet here in America we are truly fortunate, for we may buy Roma wines at a very low cost, since we don't have to pay import duty or costly shipping charges. So serve Roma wine with pride on any and all holiday occasions. Serve Roma, too, for everyday dinners you can afford to. Ask your dealer tomorrow for your favorite Roma wine, America's largest selling wine. But before you buy wine, buy war bonds.
And now it is with pleasure that we bring back to our sound stage Mr. Peter Lorre in Act 2 of Back for Christmas. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
For Christmas. Hermione was so positive we would be back for Christmas that last afternoon, pouring tea out for a few friends who had come in to say last-minute farewells, she kept reiterating it.
Now, mind you, Hermione, don't let those Americans lure your husband with one of their fat university jobs. We absolutely must have you with us for Christmas. He shall be back, I promise you.
Well, it's not absolutely certain, of course.
Hubert, what do you mean it's not certain? Of course it's certain.
After all, Hubert, old boy, you've contracted to lecture for only 3 months.
Oh, that's quite right, but then, of course, anything may happen.
Hubert adores being unpredictable. Now, what other man would decide the day, the very day, mind you, before leaving for America, to dig a great hole in the floor of the cellar? In the cellar? Yes. He's going to put some unclassified wild orchids down there. A devil's garden, if you please. It sounds so mysterious. That's Hubert, though. It's really quite simple, however, once you find out what he's up to. Now, take the telephone call he put through to you a few minutes ago, Frederick.
Me?
Of course. And Hubert wanted to surprise me about your plan to meet us in New York next month. Wasn't that why he called? To ask you not to mention it?
My dear Hermione, Hubert couldn't possibly have telephoned me within the past hour. I've been walking in the park since 3.
He didn't telephone you?
Well, how could he? Just for my going to America.
No. Come, Freddie, come. You may as well confess. Hermione has just found me out again.
But Hubert, old chap, I really
You see what a poor liar Hubert makes. He's red as a beetroot. Aren't you ashamed of yourself, Professor? Stringing poor Hermione along like that. And as for you, Freddie, I'm furious you said nothing to us about going to America.
But look here, old girl. I've been trying to tell everyone here that I'm...
Just the nonsense. The game's gone on long enough. Besides, we must start getting ready. Now, it was marvelous of all of you to come in to say goodbye. And don't worry about Hubert's little jokes. I will bring him back for Christmas. You may rely on it.
They all believed her. For years, she had been promising me for dinner parties, garden parties, committees, and the promises had always been kept. This time, they would not be. I had seen to that. The servants were gone for good. The farewells all said. I timed to the minute how long it would take to fill in a hole in the cellar. My devil's garden. Upstairs in a bedroom, I undressed and put on my old bathrobe, and then I opened the door into Hermione's room. Oh, Hermione, have you a moment to spare?
Of course, dear. I'm just finished.
Oh, then, will you come in here for a moment, please? There's something rather extraordinary here.
Oh, good heavens, Hubert. What are you lounging about in that filthy old bathroom for? I told you to put it into the furnace.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it today. Yes, really, I will.
Well, high time. Now, what is it you want to show me?
Oh, here, in the bathroom. Just look, who in the world do you suppose dropped a gold chain down the bathtub drain?
Nobody has, of course. Nobody wears such a thing.
Then what is it doing in here?
I don't see anything.
Well, look. I'll hold this flashlight here for you. If you lean right over, you can see it shining. It's deep down.
Oh, such a lot of nonsense. Just as well. Well, I don't see it, Hubert.
Go on looking, Hermione, in just a moment.
Hubert, I absolutely refuse it. Hubert, what are you doing? Take your hands off my neck.
I will, Hermione. Just as soon as I've finished the arrangements for my trip to America.
What are you talking about?
You thought you were the only one who could plan things, didn't you? Didn't you, Hermione, huh? Well, I've been making some plans of my own this past week. In exactly 2 minutes and 16 seconds, you'll be dead. You see? You see, I planned it very accurately.
You'll never get away with it.
Oh, I thought you would say that, Hermione, but I will get away with it. You won't mind the smell of the leaves mowed down in the cellar when I take you down there today? Yes, that is where you are going, Hermione. Right into my devil's garden that annoyed you so much.
My friends all expect me back for Christmas.
They do.
If they don't hear from me, they'll start asking questions.
No, they won't. Because you'll write them letters, Hermione, on a typewriter, as you always do. They'll be signed H, in that neat, correcting way you always sign your notes to your friends.
Here, let me up now.
No!
It won't work, Hubert. You were never any good at planning.
Oh, but I have changed. I've learned from watching you all these years.
The lecture people in America. They'll expect you to be traveling with your wife.
I will be traveling with my wife, but not my present wife, Hermione.
Hubert! It won't work, I tell you. That pit you dug in the cellar...
Oh, it will work. It'll serve its purpose well.
Hubert!
No, I'm sorry, dear. This thing has to be done exactly as planned. You have just 5 seconds to say your prayers.
Hubert! You must listen. The cellar... Don't do it, Hubert!
Steward?
Yes, sir?
Oh, my wife, she's indisposed. She'll be taking her meals in our stateroom.
For the old voyage, sir?
Yes, for the whole voyage.
I trust your wife is feeling better this morning, Professor Schumacher.
A little. Not yet well enough to leave her cabin.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh, Professor Schumacher.
Yes?
Here's a copy of the radiogram you sent for your wife last evening.
Oh, thank you. I'll just check it over. Oh, but look here.
What? What's the matter? Did the typist make a mistake?
No. It's nothing important. She can correct it later. For a moment, I had a feeling that Hermione had been leaning over my shoulder again, correcting what I had written as she always did. I had written a radiogram to Professor Goodenough and his wife. Haven't been out of my cabin the whole beastly trip, Hubert. Well, no doubt we'll be back for Christmas. But the operator had left out the W, and it read, "No doubt we'll be back for Christmas." Exactly what Hermione would have written. Well, the rest of the trip was uneventful. Marion and I met in New York just as we had planned. Just as we had planned. Professor and Mrs. Schumacher, we have reservations, I believe.
Oh, yes, we've been expecting you, sir. Boy, take Professor and Mrs. Schumacher's luggage up to their suite. You know, Mrs. Schumacher, you're quite a surprise.
Oh?
Your letter reserving the rooms was so thorough, I was expecting an older, more forbidding sort of person, frankly, ma'am.
No. As a matter of fact, we're just married, but my letter reserving the room.
Oh, I wrote the letter, my dear, and I signed it Mrs. Hubert Schumacher. Just a joke.
What a cunning old fox you are, Hubert.
Now that I think of it,
I almost forgot. There's a letter for you, Mrs. Schumacher.
That's peculiar. I wonder who on earth...
Oh, well, we'll soon find out in good time. Come along, darling. Oh, we are keeping the boy waiting. Come. Nothing like a cold, brisk shower to put a man to rights.
Hubert, this letter.
Oh, yes, the letter. Oh, dry my hair, will you, darling? Please.
It seems to be a bill of some sort from a building contractor in Salisbury.
Oh, really?
Oh, bother, dry your own hair.
Thank you, darling. Let's see this bill, or whatever it is.
It's very puzzling. Hubert, you were a widower, weren't you? I mean, Hermione isn't still alive.
Good heavens, no. Well, let me read that. Dear Madame, this is to acknowledge your order together with the keys to your house in Launceston Place. Our man had no difficulty in finding the place where your husband had begun the excavation in the cellar, but apparently he changed his mind at the last moment and filled it in again.
What is it, Hubert?
Our man will begin digging tomorrow, and the job will be completed in ample time for your surprise Christmas present to your husband. We are happy to be conspirators with you in this thoughtful gesture and hope that Professor Schumacher will be pleased at the results of our work on his devil's garden. Very truly yours, Paul Holt Sons Contractors.
What does it mean, Hubert?
Means that Hermione was right. I will be back for Christmas. I will be back for Christmas. I will back for Christmas. Back for Christmas. Yes, Hermione.
And so closes Back for Christmas, starring Mr. Peter Lorre. Tonight's tale of Suspense.
In just a moment, we shall hear again from Mr. Lorre. But first, just a word that seems appropriate. One of the world's oldest customs is the Christmas toast, and traditionally, down through centuries of war and peace, the Christmas toast has been drunk in wine. This year, when the glasses are filled and raised once again, we know that in every home the toast will be to a speedy victory and a speedy return of those we love. And before we set the wine glasses down, let us all resolve to do everything within our power to help make that toast come true. Let us resolve to help supply the weapons of war by buying even more and more war bonds. Let us resolve to face our own inconveniences without complaining. And above all, let us resolve that when this war is at last over, each of us will exert all our effort to see that future Christmases truly express peace on earth, goodwill to men. This thought, together with our very best wishes of the season, is the Roma Wine Company's Christmas message for you, its friends, here in America and throughout the world.
This is Peter Lorre. Thank you for listening to our suspense play this evening, and I know you're looking forward to next week's show as I am. It is called Finishing School. And its subtitle might be the famous quotation, "The female of the species is more deadly than the male."
Don't forget, then, next Thursday, same time, for Margot, Elsa Lanchester, Janet Beecher, and a distinguished all-feminine cast in Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, ROMA. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
all you men in the armed forces of the United Nations, here's a special Christmas package. Oh, come on, ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem.
Hi, you guys and gals everywhere, and Merry Christmas to you. This is Linda Darnell, filling in for Santa Claus and getting ready to untie a ribbon on a great big package of entertainment addressed to each and every one of you and marked "Do Not Open Till Christmas." It's chock full of greetings in word and song from some of your favorite entertainers with a special message from the Chief of Chaplains for the Army and for the Navy. Right now, gang, let's tear off the gift wrapping and see what's inside. The tinsel and let's make some room here, because right at the top of your Christmas box are the Andrews sisters, here to send their very best Christmas greetings. And how are they going to do that? Well, of course, they're going to sing. seen in Laverne. That was as solid as the andiron old St. Nick leans his bag on when he brushes the cinders out of his beard after coming down the chimney. Well, you know, fellas, Christmas calls for a lot of things. Good fellowship, hospitality, and fun. But for a moment, with the finer implications of Christmas, we go to our nation's capital, Washington, where you will hear a special Christmas message from the Navy's Chief of Chaplains, Captain Robert D. Workman. Go ahead, Washington, and Captain Workman.
The chaplains of the Navy Department join with others here in Washington in sending special, individual Christmas greetings to you, the men and women of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. This Christmas, our thought turns first to you. We know full well that your thoughts are of home and your loved ones. We wish to assure you that the people here at home, who appreciate the reasons why we are in this war, realize that you are putting your all into this scrap because you are anxious, among other things, that the spirit of Christmas and the right to enjoy a good old-fashioned Christmas shall be preserved through the years which lie ahead. The spirit of Christmas is the Christ. Christ was the gift of God who sent his Son that we might know the way, the truth, and the light, and possess the secret of attaining eternal life. Christ's own life was the perfect example of doing things for others and giving for others. We show the true spirit of Christmas, therefore, when we do for others and give for others. You out there, each of you, wherever you are today, is a living example of this spirit. You are giving loyal, devoted service to your country, and you give it as though you were giving it personally for your loved ones and for your good neighbor around the corner. For this gift from you this Christmas, the hearts of Americans well up with gratitude and pride. Speaking for them, I say, thank you, soldier. Thank you, Blue Jacket. Thank you, Marine. Thank you, Coast Guardsman. And what of our gift? What will be our gift to our country at a time like this? What will be our gift to you? With humility, we offer to our country increased devotion, which we hope will be worthy, in some small measure, to be compared with your noble gift to our beloved land. And for you, individually, we offer as a gift a prayer of gratitude for your gift, and a prayer that you may be kept safe and be returned home to enjoy with your loved ones and friends many, many Merry Christmases through the years to come. God bless you and grant you the richest and most precious blessings of the Christmas season.
Thank you, Captain Workman. And now, gang, back to your Christmas package, because we've lots of unwrapping to do. Say, here's an item I'm sure you'll say looks mighty fine, all decked out in cellophane and holiday tinsel, because she's a favorite item of yours all the year through. And a swell gal she is, Jenny Sims.
Thank you, Linda. Gee, I'm thrilled to be on this Christmas program for all you fighting men. And I want to add my Yuletide greetings to each and every one of you. Maybe I'm too big to fit in your stocking, but I hope this song fits your holiday mood.
When you're down and out, lift up your head and shout. It's gonna be a great day. great day, a great day, a great day. It's gonna be a great day.
Oh, that was great, Jenny Sims. Well, comes now our Santa Claus for tonight, the man who's been trying to get me on his lap all afternoon to whisper what I want for Christmas, Bob Hope.
Thank you. How do you do, fellas? This is Bob wishing a Merry Christmas to all you United Nations servicemen everywhere, Hope. Speaking for the Americans, the Chinese, the English, and the Rus, saying that as soon as we fry our Christmas turkey, we'll finish cooking Hitler's goose. Well, it's not a big laugh. It's just an opening. But anyway, soldiers everywhere love Christmas because during the holidays, the commanding officers choose certain guys and grant them furloughs. Choose certain guys and grant them furloughs. That's an Army expression meaning eeny, meeny, miny, there ain't no mo. And this Christmas, we really got men all over. We got men in more places than Crosby and I build roads to. They're even hanging mistletoe up there in the Illusion. And you know the Eskimo system of kissing with the noses? I don't mind playing post office, but, brother, that's the wrong zone. It's so cold up there, one soldier on Kiska wanted a certain type of sweater for Christmas, but they couldn't get Lana Turner past the postal authorities. And the fellows, the Illusions, really have a lot of unusual weather. I'm not allowed to mention what kind of weather it is, but all I can say is if we had that weather in California, it would freeze almost as many oranges as the weather we have does. And Christmas in London is something, too. They got a blackout there all the time. One private grabbed someone under the mistletoe, and everything was all right until he reached around and felt 3 chevrons. England is pretty similar to us when it comes to celebrating Christmas, except for that warm beer. That beer is really warm. After 2 quarts, you can save your burps and rent yourself out as a flamethrower. I heard about one sailor in the Mediterranean area who had an interesting Christmas. He got a card from Dorothy Lamour with a picture of her in a sarong on it. What a picture. You know how George Washington looked straight ahead on the 2-cent stamp? Well, on this envelope, he kept peeking over his shoulder. In Italy, the soldiers couldn't get any tinsel for their Christmas tree, so they decided to decorate the tree with spaghetti. When they put in the plug, the meatballs lit up. One company over in India had a Christmas dinner, and they ran short of turkey, but nothing stops those GIs. They just started slicing the white meat off the Colonel's eagle. And Christmas in a lot of places is pretty strange. In Africa, you should see Santa Claus fly through the air in a sleigh pulled by 6 camels. Boy, those camels, the soldier can't get off them. In order to dismount, you have to go over the hill. And the difference in seasons is really amusing. Christmas time here is cold, and over in the South Sea Islands, it's time for planting. All day long, you can see those girls in the grass skirts rotating their crops. I think you're right about that. And over on one South Sea Island, the hula girls played Santa Claus. Instead of their grass skirts, they just wore a long white beard. It's the first time a bunch of soldiers were ever in favor of GI haircuts for all.
Thank you, Bob Hope. That was swell. And now, men, with a big red ribbon round her waist and a sprig of holly in her hair, meet the girl whose fan mail is stupendous and whose voice is the same. Lena Horne, singing Honeysuckle Rose.
Every honeybee sighs with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose. When we're passing by, flowers droop and sigh, and I know the reason why. You must sweet, oh goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. I don't buy sugar, just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, seems the honey fairly drips. Your confection, goodness knows, honeysuckle rose. If behind these sighs of jealousy, when they see you out with me, I don't blame them. Goodness knows, you're my honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop and sigh, and I know the reason why. You're my sweetheart. Goodness knows, you're my honeysuckle rose. Don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. Dear sweet when you stir it up. Oh, when I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, seems the honey barely drips. Your confection, goodness knows, you're my honeysuckle rose.
Fellas, there have been an awful lot of Christmas greetings mixed in with the packages we've unwrapped. And now we're happy to return once again to Washington, where General Arnold, Chief of Army Chaplains, is standing by with a warm word of greeting for each and every one of you. Go ahead, Washington, and General Arnold.
Millions of men the world over are gathered around their chaplains in camps, hospitals, battle areas to hear again the story of the first Christmas. Thousands of others in isolated places will open their little volume of the Scriptures to read for themselves St. Matthew and St. Luke's account of our Savior's birth in Bethlehem. Men far from their homes and their loved ones will find comfort in meditating upon the hardships and sufferings of the Holy Family. They will see more clearly the real meaning of Christmas and feel more deeply the comfort of God's goodness in sending His Son to live with us and for us. In times of peace and security, we often used our many blessings rather frivolously. Our merriment frequently became revelry. Extravagance and lack of appreciation were more evident than reverence and gratitude. We thought more of our ease and pleasure than of God's goodness and mercy. Many a Christmas came and went without making us better men and women. Now, however, we see Christmas as men of faith and courage saw it 2,000 years ago. The hardships and sufferings of war have cleansed our hearts of pride and vanity, and we have a truer knowledge of the things which really count in life. Prayer and trust in God have a new value for us. Home and the daily association with loved ones are now appreciated as never before. Honest labor, leisure for simple pleasures, and peace with moderate plenty would fill our hearts with real joy. Through the coming of God's Son to share and sweeten our life, we know that we can be happy and joyful despite pain, hardship, and material losses. These are the simple truths which Christmas has been trying to teach us for 20 centuries. Joseph and Mary and Christ Himself suffered much to assure us of happiness if we have faith and love and courage. With glowing hearts, therefore, we hear the angel's message. Behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy. For this day is born to you a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. Bravely and hopefully, we look up to the Star of Bethlehem and add our voices to the song of the heavenly host, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to men of good will.
Thank you, General Arnold. Once again, gang, back to your Christmas package. And a little digging through the cellophane hereabouts brings up a small item, but potent. It's a round-trip ticket to Wistful Vista, the home of Fibber, McGee, and Molly. And something tells me we're going to get down there just in time to find Fibber arguing with a little girl who lives down the street.
Give me a box of cigars for Christmas because I only... Hey, what goes on here? What are you two whispering about?
She says I better go home, mister.
Huh?
She says you're mad at me because I want to have the kids sing a Christmas carol for you.
Oh, now, I ain't mad exactly, sis.
I bet you are, I betcha. And gee, the kids have been out there in that cold all afternoon on account of
Now, none of that, sis. Now, cut it out. The only reason I didn't want them to sing is... Well, he will.
Oh, it's okay, mister. I know how you feel. Thanks for the cookies and thanks.
Hey, don't rush away like this, sis. My gosh. I'll listen to your old Christmas carol if it means that much.
No.
I just thought...
No, you don't like them.
I do, too, like them. I only
you
thought...
don't either like them.
I do, too.
You don't.
I do so.
No.
Yes.
No.
Now, look, sis. Here. Take my handkerchief and wipe your nose.
Thanks.
Now bring in your half-pint Glee Club and let them do their worst. Which I imagine is pretty bad.
Oh, they're not bad. They're wonderful.
Okay, so they're terrific. Bring them in.
All right. Hey, Kenny, Granny, Johnny, buddy, come on in.
My. Well, what handsome little fellas. Hello, boys.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. What you going to give us, kids?
The night before Christmas. And gee, we rehearsed it like 60. Are you ready, kids?
I'm ready, sis. No, wait a minute. Hey, Molly.
Madam, please.
Here. Take my money and my watch. You know me. Every time I hear these things, I want to give away everything I own.
The night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all snug in their wee little bed, while visions of sugar plums danced in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's
Around alone there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw open the sash. Then, what to my wondering I should appear but a miniature sleigh and a tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick that I knew right away that it must be St. Nick. All bundled in fur from his head to his foot, old Santa was covered with ashes and soot. I drew in my head and was turning around when down the chimney he came with a bound.
stocking.
Oh, boy.
And turned with a jerk. And laying a finger aside of his nose. And giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh with his team gave a whistle. And away they all flew like the sound of a pistol. But I heard him exclaim and he roared outside. Merry Christmas to all and to all. Good
Oh, is it gone?
Is the night after Christmas and all through the house. Not a creature is stirring, not even a mouse. The presents are scattered and broken, I fear. And St. Nicholas won't come again for a year. The children are nestled all warm in their wee little beds, while memories of sugar plums dance in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap are settled at last for a
Fibber, McGee, and Molly. Well, fellas, I guess we've opened the last parcel in the Christmas package. Seems like the only thing left to do is to read the card that came along with it. It's just about the biggest Christmas card you ever saw, and it has millions of signatures on it. It's signed by every mother and father and sister and brother and wife and sweetheart here at home. And it says, "A Merry Christmas to you, and may God speed you to victory."
This special Christmas Day program was presented by the War Department of the United States of America.
the challenge of the Yukon.
On King! On you Husky!
King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. Prospect Creek would have been as lonely a stretch as existed in the Yukon if it hadn't been for the 3 small cabins staked there, each of them about 10 minutes' walk on snowshoes from the other. The one in the middle had been the first, where old Charlie Wallace lived alone. The one on the left belonged to Charlie's nephew, young Ben Wallace, and the one to the right had been built by Paul Hubbard. Paul was pulling his Mackinaw on in Charlie's cabin, while the old man concentrated on a piece of slate in front of him.
Sure, I mean it, Charlie. That was much better today.
It's mighty nice of you, son, coming up like this every day. And I ain't one to forget a good turn, neither.
Oh, it's no trouble to me.
Too much trouble for that nephew of mine. He never offered. Oh, well. Say, Paul. I was wondering if you'd do me one more favor.
Just name it.
I want you to promise me you'll never mention this to a soul. Will you do that for me?
If that's the way you want it.
I do. I guess it don't make much sense to you, but, well, I can't explain it except I'd rather not have anyone know an old man like me.
I know how you feel about it, Charlie. Count on me. Oh, I better be getting back to the cabin. Got some letters to write.
You'll come up this afternoon?
Yeah. I'll see you later, Charlie.
Thanks again, son.
A short time later, Paul Hubbard was returning to Charlie's cabin, his head bent as he walked against the wind.
I hope the old man's got plenty of firewood. Guess I better ask him about it. Well, Charlie, can't say I don't keep my word, huh? Oh, it's good to get out of that wind. But, Charlie, what's wrong? Charlie. Oh, he's all slumped over. Must have dozed off. Well, I'd better throw some wood on the fire. It looks pretty low. And I'll... Oh, blood. Blood. Oh, no, he can't. Charlie.
Why, Paul. Say, I didn't expect to find you here. Thought I'd come up and have...
What's wrong with Uncle Charlie? He's dead. What? You can see for yourself. I just came in a couple of minutes ago, and I found him like this.
Oh. Paul, whatever made you do it?
Made me do it?
You killed him. That's what happened. You thought you could make it away from the cabin, but I got here before you can make a getaway. That's it.
No, I swear to you, Ben. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Who else could have done it? Who else? He was like a father to you. Treated you the same as me.
Ben, you gotta believe me.
My uncle. And my best friend.
I don't know any more about this than you do. It would have been the same thing if you'd have walked in instead of me.
Lies never covered up any... Who's that?
I don't know.
Hello there, Ben. Come on in, Sam.
Preston. Sergeant Preston.
Well, maybe he can straighten this out.
Hi there, Ben. Glad to see you, boy.
Well, you're just the person I'm looking for, Paul.
What? You're looking for me, Sergeant?
Sam and I brought a letter up for you from the post office in Fort Mont.
That's right. Here it is, too. Looks mighty important.
Charlie.
You just came in time, Sergeant.
He's dead.
Dead? How?
I got to the cabin about 5 minutes ago. I found Charlie like that. Kind of slumped over the table. I thought he was asleep. But
instead he was dead.
I tell you, Sergeant, he didn't have a reason in the world to kill him.
I didn't kill him. That's the way I found him. Sergeant, I don't know what this is all about.
Wait a minute. What's that?
What?
This paper in front of him. Wait. Listen.
I, Charlie Wallace, not being a young man anymore, know that the time's coming when I'll cash in the chips. So I hereby leave my claim and all my possessions to Paul Hubbard, a fine, upright boy. To my nephew Ben, I will gold dust worth exactly $100. Signed, Charlie Wallace.
A will? Well, I didn't know that.
So this was it, Paul.
Well, I didn't know the old man was thinking of doing anything like that.
Boy, you thought you could cheat me out of what I had coming to me, huh? $100. That claim's mine. Mine, you hear? I see it all now.
Take it easy, Ben.
But I tell you, Sergeant, he killed my uncle.
What makes you so sure he killed him?
Well, who else could have done it? We're the only ones.
Well, that's just it. You two are the only ones who could have done it. You say you came up from your cabin just a few minutes ago, Paul.
That's right. I promised Charlie I'd be back this afternoon. I came in and found him like this. That's all there is, Sergeant. I swear it.
Oh.
And you, Ben?
I told you how I found him.
Have you been out of your cabin today?
No. The ground's too solid for any prospecting, so I stayed inside. Well, that is till I left to come up here. Thought I'd have supper with the old
You're
man.
sure you haven't been up here before?
Well, certainly I'm sure. What do you ask?
You've been in your cabin all day?
That's what I said.
Ben, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder.
Arresting?
When Sam and I came up from Fort Munn, we passed your cabin. There are 3 distinct set of tracks from your door to this. You came up here earlier today and went back.
No, you can't.
Those tracks are evidence enough for me. Charlie hasn't been dead for more than an hour. If you were innocent, you'd have no reason to tell a lie.
But what killed him? I can't make out.
Charlie was murdered with a slate pencil.
A pencil?
Yes, with one hard blow, the murderer drove it right through his heart.
But that will?
Yes, the will. Paul, I'm also arresting you. I've known Charlie for a long time. Everybody in Fort Munn knows he couldn't read or write.
Sergeant Preston and Sam Colby, the head of the Law and Order Committee in Fort Munn, took the 2 prisoners to the town jail. A short time after they'd been jailed, Paul Hubbard asked if he could see the Monty.
All right, Paul, what is it?
Sergeant, this letter you brought me.
Yes?
It's from my sister back in the States. She says my mother is seriously sick and there's no hope for her to get better.
Oh. I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't you see? I've got to get back there. I've got to get back before...
Paul, that will implicate you in Charlie's murder.
If there were anything else to tell you, I'd lay it on the table. I don't know anything about this. Or the will either.
Charlie couldn't have written that will himself.
All right. I wasn't going to tell you because I promised Charlie I'd keep the secret for him. But I guess it doesn't matter now.
What doesn't matter?
The last 6 months, I went to Charlie's cabin every day, teaching him to read and write. You know, the ABCs. I'd lend him some of my books and we'd read them together. He caught on fast, too. I didn't know anything about that will. He never mentioned it to me. I never dreamed he planned turning the mine over to me. But, Sergeant, he did write it. You've got to believe me. Go on to his cabin and see for yourself. You'll find a lot of my books there.
Well, that's why the slate pencil was so handy.
He worked at it all the time, writing things. He'd even write me letters like they were an exercise. And I'd correct them for him.
I see.
Now he let me go. I don't have a minute to lose. I have to get back to the States.
All right, Paul. I'll tell Sam to let you out. He's got the keys.
Thanks, Sergeant. You'll never know what this means to me.
Well, you see him?
Yes, I saw him. Sam, you've got the keys. Go back and release him, will you?
Yeah, sure. You going to question him out here?
No, I'm letting him go.
You what?
I'm letting him go.
Why, man, you must be out of your mind.
No, I'm serious, Sam.
But you can't mean it. Why, he's just as guilty
I think he's innocent, Sam.
Sergeant Preston, if you go through with this, as head of the Law and Order Commission here in Fort Munn, I'll go to Inspector Maynard and see that it costs you your commission.
I've never let an innocent man hang yet. What's more, as soon as Paul's got a good start to his cabin, we're going out there and give him a chance to remove those doubts from your mind.
Doubts? There's no doubt in my mind, and I think you've lost yours.
All I want you to do is slip in through the back door to the cabin. Don't let him know you're there. I'm going to prove to you, Sam, that Paul did not murder Charlie Wallace.
It was an hour later. Sergeant Preston, with King at his side, knocked on the door of Paul Hubbard's cabin.
Well, I see he has his sled ready.
Who is? Why, it's Sergeant Preston.
Mind if I come in, Paul?
No. No, come ahead.
Thanks.
Kind of surprised to see you.
I imagine you won't like what I'm going to say.
What is it? What's wrong?
I'm going to take you back to jail.
What?
That's right.
But I told you. I'm almost ready to leave. You can't mean it.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I don't understand this. Why did you let me go?
There's no use wasting time.
But don't you see, every minute may mean... No, I won't go. I won't go back with you.
If I put you under arrest...
But I didn't have anything to do with it. You can't stop me now. I've got to get back to the States. It's life or death. If I don't see my mother now...
I don't like to hold a gun on you. If that's the only way to make you come with me, then...
So that's it. Taking me in with a gun in my back. Well, I'm not going, see? Now I've got the gun.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you've got the gun. All right, King, quietly. I guess you're calling the cards now, Paul. You've already killed one man. There's nothing to stop you from killing me and making your getaway.
No, you still think I killed him, eh?
You've killed one man. You won't hesitate to kill another.
You think I won't do it, don't you? You think I won't kill you? But I will. I will. It's the only way to get back to the States.
There's no need to make explanations to the man you're going to kill. Get it over with. The time's getting shorter.
Yeah, it's getting shorter.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. There's no other way. It's no use. I couldn't kill anybody. I can't shoot you. Go ahead. Here's your gun. You might as well put your handcuffs on me.
I'm not going to put handcuffs on you, Paul.
Sergeant, I guess I owe you an appointment.
Sam.
Paul, if you had killed Charlie, you wouldn't have hesitated to kill me.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Your explanation about teaching Charlie to write satisfied me that you were innocent. But I wanted more proof.
And you got it. Sergeant, believe me, that's the last time I'll ever argue with you. When you told me about him teaching Charlie the ABCs on our way up here, I still wasn't sure that he hadn't forced the old man to write that. And then killed him.
You see, Ben obviously didn't know anything about the lessons. Otherwise, he never would have left that will in front of Charlie when he killed him. You remember, he was very surprised when we found it.
Yes, son. You'd better head for Skagway right away.
Sergeant, I don't believe you really tried to hit me when you fired that gun. Why, the bullet went clean in the wall up there. Now, everybody in the Yukon knows you never missed.